Phillies had a doubleheader. They split. They lose game 1. They win game 2. They win a series. That's great. But the crazy thing is, that's not the story today. A story pops up yesterday that there could be a major player traded. It's Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
I'm not trying to get people to turn on Bryce Harper. I love Bryce. When he was announced, I still gave him the standing ovation. It was great to see him back. But if we're talking big picture World Series or bust, I just wonder how people will react if he can't be himself because of a decision that he made and his team made during the offseason.
Even if Bryce Harper is not Bryce Harper, he's better than what you've been trotting out there, and he's still going to get that respect from opposing pitching staff. So it's a step in the right direction.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Thursday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside Connor Thomas, who is in for Johnny the K today. Johnny will be back from vacation on Monday. Connor, good morning.
I'm trying to do the behind-the-head headphones thing that Johnny does because I don't have a hat on today, and it's not going well. Good morning to you. I think
Why do you have to do it?
I don't know. I was just trying it. I don't know why he has to do it.
I know John cares about his hair a lot. I have a nice head of hair. It doesn't do anything for me.
I don't know.
What's the point of me doing this? Like, oh, man, now my hair looks better for YouTube.
Yeah, we're operating low brain cells near the holiday that is tomorrow.
My brain feels empty.
Yeah, ours does too, Johnny. But the Phils won yesterday.
The Phils won yesterday, game
One of them.
2. They did not win game 1. The hang-up-the-phone call pitcher had a really rough outing in game 1. We'll talk about that at some point during the show, but that's not where I want to start. We'll react to the Phillies game yesterday because ultimately they take 2 of 3 against a Padres team. That's a good Padres team, a team that you could potentially see in the playoffs. And we've seen them already in Philadelphia in an NLCS just a couple of years ago. We all know that magical moment, Bryce Harper, the bedlam at the bank, Ranger Suarez getting the final out, flying it out to Nick Castellanos. We know all about the Phillies-Padres playoff history, and it could continue this year. So that's a good series. And they continue to pile up wins. And right now, that's what matters, especially when you're looking around what's going on in the NL East. The Braves had some really rough news yesterday. The Mets continue to spiral out of control. Wins matter. I don't care if it's May, June, July. Wins matter, and the more you can pile up, the better standing you'll be come October. Now, I mentioned the fly out to Nick Castellanos. That's where we're going to start the show, talking about Nick Castellanos. So yesterday, during this doubleheader, I checked social media. I think I saw it in between games 1 and game 2. If you guys know the name Jim Bowden is a former GM in Major League Baseball, and he's pretty well connected. I think he talks to Dombrowski a lot because he's usually pretty close to the situation with what's going on with the Phillies, their interests, who they try to acquire, who they don't acquire, off-season, trade deadline, you name it. And yesterday, he had a story in The Athletic because he now covers Major League Baseball for The Athletic, has been for a couple of years. And he mentioned that Nick Castellanos could be traded if the Phillies find a better corner outfielder. I was just kind of puzzled by it, stunned by it. I always talk about trying to improve, like center field. Last year, despite how good the Phillies were in the 2024 season, setting franchise records, I was still yelling and screaming about replacing Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas because you can always get better. So even though Nick Castellanos has been a consistent player for the Phillies, there are guys that are better than Nick Castellanos in right field in Major League Baseball. That's like Nick Castellanos is not the best right fielder in the big leagues. So, yeah, you could improve technically in right field. But is this really the move that you would want to do? Now, I'm guessing because he didn't give too much into it. He said if they could find a better right fielder. How many times have we talked about Ranger Suarez still potentially being a trade piece because he's a free agent after this season? You either go for gold with him, you have him for the playoffs, you hope that he becomes that pitcher that we've been seeing so far this season, stays healthy, continues in the playoffs, and you'll win a World Series, and then nobody cares that he walks, right? Like you're thrilled that he wins a World Series. if you don't win anything, you might be sitting there going, man, we really could have gotten something for him. Like the Gershon Yabusele situation that we saw unfold. Sixers could have maybe traded him for a second-round pick. At least you would have gotten something. Instead, he goes to the New York Knicks in free agency. Obviously, the Phillies situation this year is a lot different than what the Sixers went through last year.
Yeah.
But you get the point that I'm trying to make. When you hear Nick Castellanos could be moved this year, this month, what's your reaction to it?
That would be really stupid for the Philadelphia Phillies to do. That'd be just flat out dumb. Like
Flat out dumb?
Yes, flat out dumb. If they make that move, that is stupid. I mean, Nick Castellanos is not Bryce Harper. He's not Kyle Schwarber, okay? He's not one of these premier players in baseball that the Phillies have on the roster. But he's a really good baseball player. And he's a really important part of this lineup. And all season long, all I've been hearing is right-handed outfield bat. So you're going to take the best right-handed outfield bat on this team and trade him?
Well, hold on a second. We've been talking about right-handed pop. 10 home runs is not pop.
I understand, but he's what, fourth in the National League in doubles? Like, he's been creating opportunities for run scoring. He's hitting over 280, I believe. Like, he's had himself a good year, and he's not great defensively. Whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
That would be stupid. You're creating a hole where there is not a hole. That is not a move for the Philadelphia Phillies this year. If they do it, I'm going to be livid.
All right, hold on. Livid.
Yes.
All right, you're crazy for saying livid.
No,
Again,
I'm not.
Shohei Ohtani is available to play right field for the Phillies.
He's not.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like you're acting like if you trade Nick Castellanos, the season's over. I'm not trying to trade him. All right, let me make that clear. I'm not like going out of my way. Like I would rather move on from a Brandon Marsh or Max Kepler or players that bother me. Right, Nick Castellanos. You guys listen to me. I love Nick Castellanos. I've been him and Darius Slay are the two guys where I don't understand the pushback or the disdain or the exhaustion that those guys got over the years. Nick Castellanos has been a staple for this team and has been one of your most consistent hitters. Forget his first year, because the first year was not good. But since then, he has been probably your most consistent player since that's now 2.5 seasons. We're going on 3 seasons of him being one of your more consistent players. So I'm not looking to trade him, but there are better players.
They're not available.
We don't know that. What if they find a better corner option? And again, you have to trade something to get something. I don't think Nick Castellanos would be in a trade one right fielder for another right fielder. I think Nick Castellanos would then be that Ranger Suarez piece where you're moving him for a stud reliever. And imagine if you can find a better right field option or maybe a comparable right field option, and you're getting like a Duran from the Twins, the closer that they have, to add to this bullpen that is in dire need of better arms.
All right, then your left fielder is going to be Max Kepler for a postseason run. Your center fielder is going to be either Brandon Marsh or Yohan Rojas for a postseason run, right? Like, why would you create a hole where there's not one? Nick Castellanos is the best offensive outfielder on this team.
Yes.
And you're going to trade him in a World Series contention year because you might be able to find somebody better. That is not how it works. That's the same thought process that people who want to trade Ranger Suarez to move around assets, like, oh, we have a good rotation. Well, we want to even the rotation out with the bullpen. It's dumb. You have a strength. You keep the strength in a year where you're playing for the World Series.
So I'm curious what people are thinking when it comes to this. And again, I'm not looking to do it. I would be very curious to hear what kind of package Nick Castellanos is getting you, because Nick Castellanos you would still have him next season. It's not like a team's trading for a rental or acquiring a rental. I saw in the report that the Phillies would have to eat some of the salary. If that's the point, to me, there's no point, right? You might as well keep him for right field if you're eating salary and all that kind of stuff. But I'm curious to see what kind of package it would be. Now, here's my question. Obviously, trade rumors for Nick Castellanos. What would you think about that? 610-632-0975. But what I really want to talk about is a conversation that centers around Castellanos, but we can open this up to all of Philadelphia. What leads to our exhaustion with certain athletes? Because I'm sure there are some people, Connor, that go, oh, man, I wouldn't mind not seeing him here anymore, because there are people that feel a certain type of way with Nick Castellanos. There's an exhaustion that surrounds him. There's the exhaustion that surrounds Joel Embiid, right? man, I know what's going to happen. He's going to get hurt. I know that he's a very good basketball player, but he's going to get hurt. I just don't want to see him here anymore. There are people that reach that level. What gets us to that level? We'll get into that coming up next. It is Kincade Salciunas, Connor in for Johnny here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that means. Engagement season.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. It is July the 3rd. I am off tomorrow, so you and Connor Thomas and Andrew DeCecco will be filling in tomorrow.
I am Connor Thomas.
I know. Because I didn't say that you were in for John to start the segment.
Oh, okay.
Not everybody watches on YouTube. So you, Connor Thomas.
Oh, I thought it was a list. I thought there was a third you in here.
You, Connor Thomas, and Andrew DeCecco will be doing this show tomorrow. I hope everybody has a great 4th of July weekend. Post-show headlines when we do it after the show today will be about the 4th of July weekend and the do's and don'ts and the upsides and the downsides. And, it's a great weekend.
It is.
America,
I'm very
baby.
excited.
USA, USA, USA.
Yeah, I'm going down after the show tomorrow. I'm going to head down to Brigantine, go out on the jetty.
That's nice.
Hang out, and then I'm going to go over your place Saturday. We're going to have a little outside of work hangout session.
I don't want to hang out with you.
You invited me.
Yeah, unfortunately. It was a mistake. I want you to take a couch out of my basement. All right. So what leads people to being exhausted with an athlete? So the reason why I have this question is there's the report from Jim Bowden, covers Major League Baseball for The Athletic, that Nick Castellanos could be traded this month. The MLB trade deadline is at the end of this month. And I know that Nick Castellanos is a guy that a lot of people feel a certain type of way about. Darius Slay, I mentioned his name in the first segment, forever was a player that people felt a certain type of way about. And to this day, I'm still confused by it, right? Like both of these guys, Slay and Castellanos, available on the field. The only time we saw Slay disappear was the injury when Patricia all of a sudden became the defensive coordinator. Coincidence? Maybe. Who knows? That was weird, though. But both guys were available. Both guys played at a high level. Both guys were consistent. One is now gone. One is still here. I'm acting like Castellanos already got traded. He's not. But those are two guys where people felt a certain type of way. They did not have the majority of fans having their back. Bryce Harper is a guy where like 95% of the city would go to war for.
Yeah.
Right? I'm at the ballpark the other night. And I know you go down often for your journalistic duties with the Locked On Phillies podcast. When I hear JT Realmuto.
Oh, I'm getting there.
That place goes nuts.
Really?
Oh, dude, the other night, this past Saturday, every time his name got announced, there was just a round of applause every at bat. Like he is still, even though you see the people complaining on social media about the double plays, he is still a fan favorite. And just by going to a ballpark this past Monday, I noticed that.
That's a good thing, by the way, and it may be a smart thing by this fan base because of an understanding of what the catcher position is supposed to be. Like part of the pitching staff's accomplishments this year are part of JT Realmuto's accomplishments. But I do get tired of every single ball he hits being either directly in. Dude, even his hits are over shortstop. Like everything is just right in that window for him.
Well,
right now.
you're not asking him to hit 300.
Well, I'm asking him to hit the ball to second base.
Well,
maybe.
exactly. I got it. What is it that gets certain people exhausted with athletes? Like for me, it's just, are you good or are you not good? Right? Like I'm a very simple man when it comes to sports. Do I believe you are a good baseball player that can help me win my team, win a game? Like there are guys that I believe on this baseball team would hold the Phillies back from winning the World Series. I've talked about it a million times with guys like Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas and Max Kepler, like being everyday players for this baseball team. That's just it, though. Like I don't get exhausted by antics usually.
Yeah, me either. But I don't get exhausted by a lot.
But there are people that are like, oh, man, Castellanos' attitude too cool for school. The buttons. How many times do people bring up the buttons?
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. Like, I don't know. If you win, you could play shirtless. I don't really give a damn what you're wearing or how you look. But I don't know. I'm a tough person to exhaust. So I think it's just repeated mistakes that seem to be somewhat avoidable, that you can't justify. And people's minds with the Phillies will go to, like, the base running. So someone will say, shouldn't that be the whole team? Well, there's thought process behind that, being aggressive to create opportunities. The Brandon Marsh thing, which we're going to talk about.
We'll talk about it. It was ridiculously stupid.
That was really dumb. But, like, the guy that bothered me most, probably in Philadelphia sports history, was Nelson Aguilar. Because it was the same thing over and over and over with him. And you get tired of it over years, but that goes back to the not great player, even though he turned into one.
Now I could say Aguilar. Here is something that exhausts me. I said no antics really exhaust me. The constant social media. I'm deleting my account. I'm reopening my account. Like AJ Brown.
Yeah.
When it comes to social media,
that bothers you though.
Yes,
that doesn't bother me.
Because if it's something that literally is on your mind so much to the point where you will delete it and then you'll re-upload it and then you'll delete it again and then you'll re-upload it again. Then just stay away from it.
Dude, you could be fighting people in the streets off the field. As long as you're available to play and you play well. Like,
no, I'm not exhausted by A.J. Brown. I'm just saying, like, that exhausts me. Alec Boehm. I'm not trying to ship him away.
Yeah.
But Alec Boehm, the bat slamming and the helmet slamming and the constant whining exhausts me.
Doesn't really. I mean, it exhausts me when he's striking out and not showing any type of pull. But, no, I mean, I don't know. I'm very little outside of the game.
Okay, so coming up next, we'll try to think of some players that have reached that level. Not for us. Again, I'm not exhausted by Nick Castellanos, but I know that there are a lot of people are. Who are the names in Philadelphia recently or are currently here that may reach that territory or have reached that territory for a lot of Philadelphia sports fans? We'll go through that coming up next. Also, we'll react to the games themselves because the Phillies played 2 of them. They split. They won the series. Wins matter. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A split doubleheader. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want, any size soft drink for $1. It's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday against the Padres. Game 1 got off to a rough start. McAble was only able to get through 1 2/3 innings. He walked 5 batters, gave up 5 runs. The Phils ultimately lost that first game 6-4. Game 2, that was a different story, though. Christopher Sanchez got the start in that one, and he was dominant. Sanchez went 7 innings, struck out 5, only allowed 1 run on 5 hits. At the plate, Max Kepler became the 4th Philly to hit double-digit home runs on the season with a 2-run shot last night. The Phils are off today before a 4th of July matchup tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds. Jesus Luzardo's on the mound for that one. First pitch is at 1:05. Rumors have been swirling about T.J. Watt and a trade, and some have linked him to the Eagles. Adam Schefter joined Kincade and Salciunas yesterday and threw water on that idea.
And the fact of the matter is, I think the Eagles are planning and budgeting to pay their own players. So there's so many contractual situations and commitments that you have that it makes it hard all of a sudden to go trade for a T.J. Watt.
The Birds are set to report to training camp on July 22nd. This update was also brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Save up to $30 on auto repair with AAA Triple Play, only at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer valid through July 31st. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. If you're just tuning in, Nick Castellanos trade rumors once again. Just to clear up some confusion, because I think it was MBD on our YouTube chat saying, all right, is this just a dump salary? Again, here's the quote. I have the exact quote from Jim Bowden. The Castellanos rumors just never go away. And for that reason alone, multiple GMs think there's a chance that he could get moved if Philadelphia can find a better right field option. Now, you don't believe that there are better right field options out there. Now, again, there could be a player that pops up out of nowhere. There could be I don't remember talking about Austin Hayes last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, there could be something that pops up because they could get creative, which is what I keep on saying. Like, what if Bryce Harper is your better right fielder and you acquire somebody to play left field and then you acquire somebody to play one of your corner infield spots?
Then you've given up too much to help the bullpen as much as you need to. And that's a bad strategy at the deadline.
Why, if you're trying to win?
Bullpen's number one. So sell out.
No, I mean, but again, Castellanos would actually get you something.
Right, but
it's not, you're not trading Castellanos for some team's 12th arm in their pen.
Yeah, I got you. I don't know. I'd rather move prospects. I'd rather move guys in the minor league system than take a guy off this team that's hitting over 280.
Yeah, look, I'm not looking to do it. I'm just curious by it. Like, I am intrigued that there could be talks within this month that we're currently in that he could be available. I mean, I don't think it's like hang up the phone.
Oh, I'm not hanging up the phone.
Okay, I just want to make that clear. Like, I'm not hanging up the phone with Nick Castellanos.
No, he's not untouchable, but I just, like, that's not a place I'm thinking right now. There are too many.
I wasn't thinking about it until I saw the report yesterday. And again, in the report, it's also that the Phillies would have to eat up some of the salary, which I don't want to even bother start doing that. But that's what the conversation was to start the show because there is that report. Now, the games itself, before we get to this list of players that could potentially reach or have already reached a level of exhaustion, Phillies split the doubleheader yesterday. Game one was just atrocious. They almost come back. Kyle Schwarber was actually the game-winning run up to bat. There's probably no other person you want in that situation batting.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he strikes out to end the ball game. But it was a rough start. Mick Abel cannot complete the second inning. Just 2 hits, but he walked 5, 2 of which were with the bases loaded, right?
Yes.
Yeah, two bases loaded walks. And
they
then
walked 9 in the game total. Like, it was bad command out of the Phillies staff in general, but mainly Mick Abel.
But the thing is, like, I got to give Lazar and Walker and Seth Johnson and Daniel Robert credit because they come in and they only allow 1 run over the next 6 1/3 innings. But unfortunately, the lineup just didn't catch up early enough. You saw late life, they scored their first run in the 6th inning, a Kyle Schwarber home run, 2 in the 7th. They did score 1 in the 9th, and the winning run was up to bat, but it just wasn't enough. So game 1 sucked, but game 2 was a lot better. They win 5-1. Your boy Max Kepler hit his 10th home run. Wow. His 10th home run in the season. It's a prestigious club that the Phillies have, the double-digit home run club. We now have 4 members in that club: Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Trey Turner, and now Max Kepler. Christopher Sanchez is just lethal on the mound, and he's doing it with like 5 strikeouts. Right, like if you look at, let me pull up his lines.
But his strikeout numbers are good for the season. It's just like game to game, he can do it different ways.
The Astros game, he has 11 strikeouts. Right, so yesterday's start, he has 5 over 7 innings. He had 11 over 6 against the Stros. He had 4 over 8 against the Marlins, 5 over 7 against the Blue Jays, 9 over 7 against the Pirates, and then it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, to your point, there's one day he'll strike out 4 guys, but pitch 7 innings.
Yeah.
And then the next day he'll have 11 strikeouts, he did in his last start.
He doesn't give up hard contact.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And Ranger's a very similar way, and Wheeler's more of that power strikeout guy. You've got a bunch of different types of arms in this rotation, and they're just one-upping each other day in and day out.
Yeah, I mean, it really is amazing how good this pitching staff has been. And, I mean, as expected, right? And this is why I want them to be aggressive at the deadline, because I don't want to waste this.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I keep on bringing up the tweet that Johnny and I got last week, the guy that said after the Astros series, this is why they should not be aggressive at the deadline. No, this is why they should be aggressive at the deadline, because they held an Astros lineup to 5 total runs. 5 runs in 3 games. The problem was you scored 1. Like if you have bats that could score 4 or 5 runs in a game, like you saw yesterday in Game 2, the pitching staff that you have, it's going to be hard to lose as long as you could score around 4 or 5 runs, which they are averaging that over the season.
Right, but you can add to that 4.5 to 5.5 is the difference between maybe winning 2 series and winning 3 series, which can be a trophy.
Yeah, it absolutely could be.
Yeah, anyone who thinks they shouldn't be aggressive at the deadline, I think that's dumb. I think you're misguided. This team needs to go in on this season.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so chime in 610-632-0975. Your thoughts on the Nick Castellanos trade rumors. And I want to figure out what makes people reach a level of exhaustion with players. So let's talk about some of those players. The jumping off point's Nick Castellanos, right? I still don't get it. Is it the attitude?
Yeah, that's
like
part of it.
Like the too cool for school thing?
Yes.
Isn't Jalen the same way?
No.
We love Jalen for, oh man, all he cares about is football.
No, because Castellanos talks about stuff outside of baseball. Not that that's a bad thing to me, but like his out of the blue comments are like Scooby-Doo is a superhero and stuff like that. And I don't lock in. It's hard for me to lock in the regular season. Jalen Hurts is just like a football robot. So it's different to me in that way.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm just saying like that kind of attitude though. Like
yeah, but
they're not fiery guys. Like there are people that complain that Nick Castellanos doesn't seem to care. I don't get that. Darius Slay was a player that people didn't like. I don't know why. Other than the podcast. Like the podcast is the only thing that I would say, yeah, that bothered me at times, but it didn't bother the team. Clearly.
Yeah. Well, he's also another one of those guys where it's like friendly with a lot of the opposing wide receivers and other players on other teams in the league, and we'll talk about anything.
So what?
He treats it like...
We like Gene Segura. We love him, right?
Yes.
Jimmy Cigarettes?
Baseball's different. Baseball, you chat up guys all the time in the middle of the game. Like, it's a different culture, but it's like Darius Slay was, to me, the community of the NFL guy, and I don't think we like that in this city.
Why?
I think we want to hate all the opposition, which is fair. But that didn't determine to me how we treat him as a player.
Right. All right, real quick, because now YouTube's comparing Castellanos to Jalen Hurts might be a fireable offense. I'm not comparing, like, the level of play. Remember, Castellanos has had this kind of weird relationship with the fans since the day he got here. Right?
Yeah.
You've been following the Castellanos journey since the day he got here in 2021. Right? 21 was his first season at this point?
22.
So the World Series year was his first year?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, it is. 2022 is the first year. People didn't like the attitude from the beginning. From the beginning. That's the point I'm making. Not style of play, not how good he is versus Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. Talking about the attitude. There are some people in this city, athletes in this city, where people just don't vibe with their attitude. But Castellanos and Hurts, they're kind of low-key. Never see them get too fiery. It is the same. They're very similar in that.
It's just angled different. Their temperament's the same, but the way that they focus it is very different.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, like, I mean, I could never imagine Jalen Hurts saying, yeah, it's hard for me to lock in the regular season. I lock in a lot more in the postseason. He's always
yeah,
locked.
but he
He's
also
locked
goes
in
out
right
and
now.
plays every single game.
Right.
Like, that's something we should love in this city.
Yeah, it's not like Castellanos doesn't lock into the point where he wants days off. Like, he is out there. It took him getting benched for him to not be on the field this year.
Yeah. I'm just saying the impression from the outside. I'm not saying how I view them. I have no issue with Castellanos.
I got you. Embiid, like, that one I understand.
Yeah.
The injuries, like that, I totally understand why people have reached a level of exhaustion with Joel Embiid. I don't get the Castellanos one, though. I really don't. And I'm sure when people wake up today and hear that there's trade rumors for Castellanos, I'm sure there are some people that would go, you know what? I'm fine with it because I don't want to see the swing and miss at the slider low and away anymore. I bet you we get that at some point today.
Okay, we'll see if we do. I know that
Even though
those
he has
people
been one of
exist.
your most consistent players over the last 3 seasons, 2.5 seasons, I bet you, and your better playoff performer.
Yeah,
He
been
was your
awesome
best player in the playoffs
October.
last year and the year before that.
And that's a guy that we want to move on from? Like, I don't see it.
There are people that are exhausted by them. So what gets somebody to a level of exhaustion with an athlete? There's some guys I understand, like Joel Embiid and the injuries. There's some guys I just don't get. Give us some other players that you may be exhausted by. You can text those in. YouTube want to hear from you as well. 610-632-0975 is the number to get in. We'll check our text line for the first time this morning. Coming up next, it's Kincade and Salciunas, Connor and for Johnny here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn, Mike Missanelli.
Mike Missanelli. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll get our text messages here momentarily. I see a lot of people on YouTube chiming in on the conversation as well. But real quick, this is out of my world, so I apologize if I butcher the name. And
I know about this.
Diogo
Jota.
Diogo Jota, thank you, is a Liverpool soccer star.
Yes.
Apparently tragically died in a car crash.
Yeah, it's a terrible story.
Yeah, and he
just got married.
People in the car as well. Oh, really? Oh,
they just won the Premier League this past season. Like it's a terrible
yeah.
story.
Oh man, that's horrible. Yeah, I saw the breaking news just pop up on my computer, and I know, even though I'm not a big soccer guy, I know how many people love soccer, and I know that Liverpool is one of the big teams that people follow.
That's the team that I root for in the Premier League.
Oh, okay. So, there you go. Well, horrible news. I mean, it
sucks.
Just such a sad story. So, obviously thoughts and prayers go out to Diogo Jota. That's just terrible. All right. So what makes us get exhausted by athletes is what I'm trying to figure out. Because it happens. You know how John always says the line, we like who we like, we don't like who we don't like?
Yeah.
Why?
That's human nature. I mean,
Right, but like
we're
we
getting
don't
real Freudian with this.
ultimately we don't know these guys, right? Like we don't.
Yeah.
Unless we do a locker room 5-minute talk, but we still don't know these guys. We don't know what they're like outside of the workplace, which is the baseball field or the football field or the rink, the barn, right?
Well, for some, we do, and maybe this is because I'm 30, B-Gun's 31, you're 31. Maybe this is something that we need the previous generation's help with. I wonder if this existed when we had less access to athletes. I wonder if it's just too much, like knowing too much about them.
Yeah, but what do we know about Nick Castellanos?
Well, we hear the comments after the game. We see him on the TV screen all the time.
That's always happened.
Well,
They're post-game write-ups.
Social media of his family. You wouldn't get that in previous.
All right, and I get that. All right, and I know that bothers a lot of people. We talked about it. I think you were still doing afternoons when we had the conversation.
No, I was here.
Were you here?
Yeah.
Just the balance of understanding that they're family.
Right.
So like you expect family to have other members of the family's backs, right? But then also realizing, all right, they are the family of a professional baseball player, and when Nick's mom is not taking a shot at Kepler, but kind of taking a shot at Topper to Max Kepler's error,
right? But like
expense,
Castellanos,
that's something that needs to not happen. Maybe.
Yeah, he's not the only example we've used though. Think about where all the stuff comes from. Slay. It's all podcast stuff.
Yeah,
it's all stuff that we would not have had 20 years ago to criticize. Who knows what Brian Dawkins would have said in his playing days on a podcast if he was asked every 5 minutes about his thoughts on something. Like, I don't know. It may be exhaustion from how much access we get to these players.
But it's not everybody. Like,
no, it's not.
There are players that are on the TV all the time that I don't think we have reached that certain level with. Like,
yeah,
are you exhausted by Kyle Schwarber? Kyle Schwarber's on every freaking commercial around here.
No, but I'm not exhausted by Jason Kelsey. And a lot of people are because he's on every commercial around here. So it depends, but I do think it's a contributing factor.
Okay. All right. That's it. That's an interesting way to look at it. So we want to hear from you, 610-632-0975. And, of course, who are some of the players that may have reached that? MBD checks in. Johan Rojas is a guy that exhausts him. He does exhaust me. I'm not I'm not to the point of, like, man, if he's gone, he's gone. But, like, yesterday, for example, game 1. You have a runner on third. The Sosa scores on the pass ball. Johan Rojas is swinging at the first pitch. A bad first pitch to swing at. And I'm like, dude, know the game. Like that, what are you doing, Johan? Right. Now, fortunately for them, the run still ended up scoring because of the pass ball, but that's not the point. Like, I can still see that he consistently makes mistakes, and a lot of it is more of the mental side of things.
Right, like that at bat was breaker low and way away.
Yeah.
That he has no business swinging at. Strike 1.
Yeah.
Breaker low away that he has no business swinging at in same spot. Strike 2. High fastball that he laid off of. And then they tried the breaker again, and that was the pass ball that got him. So it's you've got to have a better approach and process at the plate. And if you just think through things, it seems to be avoidable. And I understand why that bothers people.
Now, Walter McCray checks in. No one was exhausted with Slay. Best corner Eagles had in the last 10 years, Junis. My man.
Open your eyes.
I'm here every single day getting texts, calls, tweets, emails. I see it on social media every single day. People were exhausted by Darius Slay. He may not be wrong about the best corner Eagles have had in the last 10 years. I agree with him. But to say that nobody was exhausted by Darius Slay, that's just not true. All right, what do we got on the text line, Gunner? You can text the show 610-632-0975. Your reaction to Nick Castellanos once again being mentioned in trade rumors. But then the conversation that I really want to have is what makes you exhausted by athletes? Like, what gets you to that point, and who are those players? Because I know it happens every single day, because I know people complain about the same players every single day. I do that with Brandon Marsh a lot, right? Now, my exhaustion with Brandon Marsh is just I don't think he's that good of a baseball player. And I told you, for me, it's simple. Do I think you're going to help my team win, or do I think you're not going to help my team win? It's very simple for me. What do we got?
We got somebody checking in with probably the most likely answer we're going to get all day, and it's Joel Embiid and his constant need to fall on the court.
See, now it's an interesting one. It's not I'm exhausted from dealing with the injuries. It's the constant need to fall on the court.
Yeah, I mean, see, that one I let go because there are bigger issues. Like earlier on in his career, sure. Now it's just like, well, he's hurt all the time. I don't have time to worry about him falling on the floor. The aesthetic of the way he plays basketball.
But aesthetics could lead to exhaustion. Like it could. Like again, Alec Boehm constantly slamming the helmet anytime he's on a cold streak. Like that's more aesthetics than anything else.
Yeah, which is why I don't give a damn about it. Because I'm not here for aesthetics. I'm not here for you to win pretty. I'm not here for you to win a certain way. I'm just here for you to win. I'm here to have good players who get results, and that's why I don't mind if Joel Embiid's falling over. Now, if it leads to injury the way he's doing that, then that's an issue, and that's a whole nother decade-long debate that we've had.
Like, it has to be results-based, right? Because A.J. Brown, football-wise, he slams his helmet all the time. He sits there and pouts all the time when he's not getting his way. Alec Boehm does the same kind of thing. He just doesn't produce to the level that A.J. Brown does.
Right. Now, here's an interesting thought. Can you be exhausted by a player and then no longer be exhausted by the player? Because Inns on YouTube said he was exhausted by Cole Hamels in 2009.
Yeah, the post-World Series.
Cole Hamels was exhausted himself, but his back hurt.
And he straight up admitted, like, I did not perform well because I did not go through the normal sort of build up to a season because I won the World Series MVP, and that took up a lot of my time.
Yeah, you can become unexhausted.
And then, of course, he bounces back.
Right.
2010, 2011, he was the pitcher that we saw in 2008.
Like, if we see 60 games of Joel Embiid this year, I'm probably going to be unexhausted by him. If he's healthy enough to help this team, I'll be good. But right now, I am.
But here's the thing.
That was the funniest thing you said in a while.
People are
60
still,
games, Embiid. Come on now.
People are still going to wait for the shoe to drop. Like,
I know.
Embiid is shoe the drop worthy.
He's the boulder, and Sixers fans are Sisyphus. And every year, you think you're going to make it to the top of the mountain, and then just injury, roll back down the mountain, start over again.
Oh, man, it's too early for this.
Why? You don't like Greek mythology?
Chill out, Plato.
Yeah, come on, man. All right, what else we got in the text line, Gunner? It's 610-632-0975.
We got somebody checking in saying Nick has been one of our most consistent players for the Phillies over the last couple of years. Last year down the stretch, he was one of two players that actually showed up in the postseason. This year, he's also one of our top hitters. My priorities at the trade deadline are bullpen number 1 and either center field or left field number 2. I think we would be giving up way too much trading Nick and not getting a good ROI.
I just wonder, like, let's say, I don't even have a name for you, okay? But let's say it's Cedric Mullins in one of these smaller packages, or you could get a legitimate center fielder with control, not rental.
Yeah.
And Castellanos is a part of it. And then Harper goes to right field.
I'd have to see who the other player was.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a questionable thing. Again, I'm not hanging up the phone, but
thank you.
I'm not. But I don't. He's not a problem.
No,
so
he's
moving.
not.
I've got a question for you on this coming up next.
Okay.
I need you to answer.
All
I
right,
think
I
helps
will.
with it.
Then I'll hear that question. We'll reset today's topics coming up next. Also, if you haven't been paying attention, you may be missing what's going on around the Phillies in the NL East. All I'm saying, people, is it could be a lot worse. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
An up and down doubleheader. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies split their doubleheader with the Padres yesterday. Game 1 got off to a rough start. McAble was only able to get through 1 2/3 innings. He walked 5 batters, only allowed 2 hits, but he gave up 5 runs. The Phils ultimately lost that first game 6-4. Game 2 was a different story, though. Christopher Sanchez was on the mound for that one, and he was dominant. Went 7 innings, struck out 5, only allowed 1 run on 5 hits. At the plate, Max Kepler became the 4th Philly to hit double-digit home runs on the season with a 2-run shot last night. The Phillies are off today before a 4th of July matchup tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds. Rumors have been swirling about T.J. Watt and a trade, and some have linked him to the Eagles. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, and he threw water on that idea.
And the fact of the matter is, I think the Eagles are planning and budgeting to pay their own players. So there's so many contractual situations and commitments that you have that it makes it hard all of a sudden to go trade for a T.J. Watt.
And football is just around the corner. We're 19 days away from the Eagles reporting to training camp on July 22nd. This update was also brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, the Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5. Real quick before we get back to our topics, the question that you have and the NL East. I just saw a report from Fred Katz, who's the senior NBA writer for The Athletic. Bobby Marks apparently talked about this as well from ESPN. So the Rockets, we know, acquired Kevin Durant, but the trades aren't finalized, I think, until July 6th is the date, if I'm not mistaken. So everything is reported. It's just not official until July 6th. So we know that the trade with the Rockets and the Suns acquired Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and picks.
Like $1 billion of them.
So Fred Katz is reporting, because it's not official, that other teams have since called to try to be a part of the trade. and not like one or two. We could see a record-setting 7-team trade.
Hell yeah. I love that.
The Rockets, Suns, so there's your Kevin Durant, from Phoenix to Houston. Lakers, Hawks, Nets, Warriors, T-Wolves are the 7 teams that could be involved in the trade. I imagine this is heading toward it happening if we already have the 7 specific teams involved.
Yeah.
And there's been talk about Jalen Green being moved from Phoenix to somewhere else. So maybe Phoenix never ends up getting Jalen Green, right? That may end up not even happening if he's a part of this 17. Maybe he goes to one of the other 5 teams in this trade.
This is awesome. I love this.
No, I love it too. But I know next week, because it's going to happen probably over the weekend, you and John are going to have to print it out and go through it slowly.
Here's who this team has, and that team, and this team.
An NBA record 7-team trade could potentially go down this weekend.
Well, this is the whole second apron jail that you get put in that everyone's trying to get out of, and now you got to get more creative. So we've seen multi-team trades, but maybe this becomes more of a normal thing with free agency being a little bit reduced based on the second apron. I don't know, but I'm all for make it 9, make it 15, make it all 30 teams. Put them all in a trade. Everybody just swaps one player.
Yeah, exactly. Why
I love
not?
chaos.
Just slide to the right. Everybody just go over one team.
Cha-cha reels.
All right. So, Connor, you have a question off of the Castellanos thing?
Yes.
What do you got?
If he was available, if the Phillies made him available, they're like, you can call us about Nick Castellanos.
Okay.
Would he not be the best corner outfielder available at the deadline?
Yeah, he probably would be.
Case in point, you can't move him. That's it. It's the same thing with Ranger. You're trying to win the World Series, okay? And you have a baseball team that is top 5 in the majors with record right now. Right? They have a shot. Now, we want to see them improve at the deadline. But what you don't do is become the top seller at a position on the market. That makes no sense for what the goal is for the Phillies.
Again, it's about whether or not you can get creative. Does Harper slide from first base to right field with Castellanos out? Because right now, the previous let's get creative conversation was moving Castellanos from right field to left field. Harper goes from first base to right field, right? If Castellanos gets replaced by Harper, you're going to still acquire an outfielder somehow. You need one. Right, whether it's center field or left field. You can't rely on Max Kepler. You can't rely on the combination of Marsh and Rojas anymore. So you would get an outfielder via one of these trades. And it could be like a Cedric Mullins, right? What if Castellanos goes to Baltimore for Cedric Mullins, and then you also get the Felix Bautista reliever, who's a stud, right? Because the Phillies need a stud reliever. And then, so Mullins is your center fielder. Harper's your right fielder. You figure out what you want to do with left field with the guys that you already have. You still have Crawford as a potential call-up piece. And then you got your bullpen arm, and then you acquire somebody to play third base. My Suarez obsession now for the Diamondbacks.
Listen,
all I traded was Castellanos, not Abel, right? Even though his trade stock's plummeting. Prospects could still be moved for other areas. Again, Dave Dombrowski, I believe, has to get creative.
Sure.
That does not mean Nick Castellanos has to be moved. I just believe this trade deadline for this team to be able to really become World Series contenders, Dombrowski, it's not just hey, let's just add the top bullpen arm, we're good. I think he has to get creative.
Right, but they're not that far away. So the more moves you introduce to this trade deadline, the more variance there is, the more risk there is. You already know what you have in certain spots, right? I don't know if Harper can be healthy enough to play right field for the rest of the year. We're already managing his time. Bryce Harper is up in the air. Let's not pretend like he's not. So I don't want to create. Here's the thing. The trade deadline for a team like this is plugging holes. Mm-hmm. What Castellanos being traded would be is moving a hole from one spot to another spot. And then you're moving one from first base to another one.
You're still trying to plug holes. It's just you're also moving guys around.
So it's a non-net gain move. It doesn't make sense. You have to keep it.
I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to. I like him a lot. You know that I like him a lot. I just don't you're not saying hang up, but you're close to it when you're saying you have to keep him.
No, you're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Like, it is a futile
Is
exercise.
this a sinking ship right now?
No, but I'm just saying that example is the only cliche I could think of where it's a futile effort to move Nick Castellanos to solve another problem because you create another problem. I want a move that moves a guy that is in the minors for this team, that brings in a guy that could help this team in a spot where you need it. Those are the only moves I'm interested in right now.
I am more so on your side. I'm just curious by what this package could be because you're almost acting like it would end up being a net negative for the team. I don't know that to be true.
I think more likely than not it would. And at best, I can see right now with the players that I'm thinking about or the positions that they have need in, it's a net neutral and you're just shifting things around, which to me is not the priority of this deadline.
I would like to imagine that if it is a net negative, Dombrowski would not make the trade.
Does his track record at the trade deadline show you that that's a certainty?
His track record at the deadline's been good. It has been.
I think it's been okay.
When it comes to bullpen arms, he's been spectacular.
Exactly, yes.
When it comes to adding pieces like Edmundo Sosa.
Yeah, depth pieces
Yeah,
and stuff
depth
like
pieces
that,
have
for
been
sure.
good. Last year, he had a miss with the outfield. That was a miss.
Yeah.
But his bullpen additions have been good.
Yeah, largely.
And what if Castellanos has to be a part of a trade? Like, if Castellanos is on the move and you're getting Duran from the Twins.
I mean, sure.
Like, you have to give up something to get him, right? Like how many, when we
What's
talk
your
about
outfield at that point?
well, exactly. Then Dombrowski would have to get creative.
Well, I don't want
I'm just saying to say that there's like no shot or would be a net negative. I don't know if that's absolutely 100% true.
Yeah, but it seems like your default is get creative when you may not have to. And getting
got you.
creative is putting this team at more risk. And I don't want to see him do that. If this team rolls in exactly as they are in the postseason, they have a chance. Now, it's not a good chance compared to what we want them to have, but this team is good. And I don't need to start shaking everything up because we've got guys going into contract years. I want you to add to the team, not change the team, add to the team. And trading Nick Castellanos is outside the realm of what that is to me.
All right, fair enough. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. You can chime in at 610-632-0975. We'll get more text messages here momentarily. But the NL East, if you've not been paying attention to the teams other than the Phillies, because I know how a lot of people are, you watch the Phillies, and that's all you watch. And when you do that, you see the pros of a team and you see the cons of the team. And a lot of people naturally will uplift the flaws, right? They'll raise the flaws above the positives. Like, oh, man, the approach at the plate, the bullpen, all this kind of stuff. All fair, but I think people make the negative a little bit heavier than the positive.
Yes.
I think you get that sense as
100%.
well. The New York Mets have now lost 7 of their last 10 games, and they continue to spiral. The Phillies have a 2-game lead over them, and they're starting to deal with injuries with their rotation. Speaking of injuries with their rotation, the Atlanta Braves lose another player. Schwellenbach goes on the 15-day IL, which could, increase. They've been dealing with Chris Sale, Smith-Shawver's hurt. Strider obviously missed the beginning of the season. That team is now 11 games back, and their players are dropping like flies to the point where there might be moves for the Braves to make where they are sellers.
The Schwellenbach thing, by the way, fracture in his arm isn't expected back until September.
Yeah,
so that's going to be
the
increased.
15 exactly. They just 15's to start, but it's gonna be increased.
Yeah, the Braves they feel cooked to me. They felt cooked to me. I've said that already. I said that last week.
Yeah.
So,
well, now that another injury happens, absolutely.
Yeah. And the Mets are not exactly rolling. Now, I still think the Mets are going to be there, right? Like, more be there than be out of it. I don't think the Phillies are going to waltz to the NL East title. But you got to have a little bit bigger of a scope than just watching the Phillies and whoever the Phillies are playing that day to understand there are real problems out there that exist outside of the Philadelphia Phillies that are worse than what this team is dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets are spiraling right now. Let's see. I have 3-7 in their last 10, but my God. So 3-7 in their last 10. Before the Phillies series, they had lost. Remember, they got swept by the Braves and the Rays. So they had lost 6 straight games coming into the series with the Phillies. The Phillies ended up winning that series, taking 2 of 3. Their record after June the 12th, they beat the Nationals that day, was 45-24. They're now 48-37. That's 3-13.
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm not a math guy.
Like they're in a really, really rough stretch. And I get it. We watch the Phillies every single night, day in, day out, and people see them getting swept by the Pirates or, losing 7 of 10, and it's, oh my God, this team stinks. This is why they should be sellers at the trade deadline. Like I saw somebody on our YouTube chat today saying they'd be more open to trading a guy like Kyle Schwarber in case he doesn't come back than trading a guy like Nick Castellanos because he believes the window is done. I forget exactly who it was that said that, but somebody on our YouTube chat believes the window's done. It was Daniel Miller. I'm fine with trading Cassie, Schwarber, Ranger, etc. because I think this window is closed. I get it if you're focused solely on the Phillies. You see the flaws.
Yeah.
Man, there are teams with a lot more flaws than what you have.
And other teams that are going to be buyers that have more flaws.
Yeah.
Right? We're not talking Colorado Rockies here. All due respect.
No. There's no respect.
A little bit of respect.
No respect.
For the players. Not for the organization.
No respect. None. That team is a joke.
Hey, be nice. We might need a bullpen arm.
All right, then I'll respect that guy. Coming up next, you mentioned Harper and how he might not be 100%. Obviously, he's not 100%. Our own Ray Dunn posed an interesting question yesterday about whether or not you'd be aggressive knowing the status of Bryce Harper. If Harper isn't Harper, how aggressive are you at the trade deadline? We'll discuss that coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, Connor in for Johnny here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
Clear by Malone, the rhythm of the play to Wentz, a golazo from
morning.
Yes, it is.
So we have our four $50 Wendy's gift cards to give away. So let's give out our first one right now. Let's go caller 5 at 610-632-0975. Caller number 5 will win our first of four $50 gift cards to Wendy's. Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave four, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. Caller number 5 will get the first of four $50 Wendy's gift cards. So checking out our YouTube chat during the commercial break, the sport of life who feels very comfortable behind a keyboard brings up the Phillies and how we are groupies, you and I.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm tired of the puppy love for the Phillies when, to be honest, they're not winning anything to deserve that treatment. They're not the Eagles. Yeah, I'm not calling them the Eagles. He continues by saying the Mets are 3-14 in their last 17 games, and the Phillies are only up 2 games. Come on, y'all. They should be up more. Shows the inconsistency of the Phillies. Or it can show you what we said in the beginning of the season, before this season even started, when we made our divisional predictions, right, before opening day, that the Mets starting pitching staff would not be able to hold up. Their lineup has been floundering recently, but I do believe they have a lineup that can drive in runs. Obviously, you have your guys like Pete Alonso and Juan Soto. You have guys that can get on base. You have a more balanced lineup than the Phillies when the Phillies are a little bit more boom or bust, right? But ultimately, for me, it came down to the starting pitching. The pitching staff of the Mets was ridiculous in April and May and for the early parts of June. And I would still say on these airwaves, even after the Phillies got swept by the Mets, it's not going to hold up. That pitching staff is not good enough. Now, obviously, they had a really bad injury with Senga going down. But the rest of the guys, like Griffin Canning, even before his injury, and I feel bad for the kid, I didn't think Griffin Canning would continue to pitch with a sub-3 ERA or close to 3 ERA. Like, I didn't think that was going to continue for guys like David Peterson, who have been pitching out of their minds. And you're starting to see it fall apart. And you're starting to see their bullpen, who I think is not that good, was able to pitch over their head a little bit. We've seen the Phillies bullpen have stretches of goodness. Not many, no, but we've seen stretches. These arms start to fall apart, especially when they're not that great. And so that's why the Mets may be just 2 games back despite their horrible stretch that they're on. But they played over their heads for the longest time, and the Phillies are an inconsistent group themselves. But ultimately, if you're comparing one team with the other, the Phillies have the better overall team. I don't believe that's groupie. I don't believe that's homerism. I believe that is analysis that I had before the season started, Connor.
Yeah.
And I continue to have. Now, if you want to hear groupie talk, the Phillies are winning the World Series. But here's the deal. I don't believe that. The Phillies need to make additions before the trade deadline. I've hated the way this line's been constructed since spring training. And I think there is a way for them to improve it. And I expect Dave Dombrowski to improve it. And if he doesn't, then August 1st, there will be fireworks on this show.
I think that's all fair.
Fair?
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as... See, I still think there's a world where this team is good enough as is. But I'm not willing to go into the postseason to find out. Right? That's where you and I differ. Like, I'm looking at this team and I'm saying, I think they have enough. But I don't want to go in with I think. So I get to the same spot as you. It's just not as a result of they can't win it with what they've got. It's they shouldn't try to win it with what they've got. But either way, we end up in the same spot, which is that this is a very good baseball team that we want to see make improvements, that has under a month to do so, and we're going to be watching very closely to see what they do. But we're not telling you the Washington Nationals are going to win the NL East.
Yeah.
We're not telling you that, like, the Minnesota Twins are going to win 110 games. We're telling you the Philadelphia Phillies are going to win in the 90s of games and have a shot at winning a World Series and are a good baseball team. And some people are like, what are these guys, from Mars?
Up until 10 o'clock last night, they had tied for the most series wins in all of baseball before the Dodgers go out and beat the White Sox and make it 20 instead of 19.
Yeah.
Like, this team beats teams consistently. I can't say. I just don't see why people are so out on this thing.
It's exhaustion. It's exhaustion, and that goes back to our original conversation because there are rumors once again that Nick Castellanos could be moved at the trade deadline, and I know that Nick Castellanos is a player for whatever reason where people are exhausted by. Some of it might be the attitude. Some of it's probably the swinging at the sliders, low and away. To me, he's been one of your more consistent players over the last 3 years. Not just to me, like statistically, factually, he has been one of your most consistent players over the last 3 years. But that happens with athletes. People get to a certain point with athletes where they just go, man, I'm looking forward to the day where this person's not here anymore. I had that with Tobias Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Like I told you, I celebrated the day he was no longer on the Philadelphia 76ers.
Pop champagne, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Like Tobias Harris, I was exhausted by Tobias Harris. I couldn't. It 6 years. 6 years. Like I got so fed up to the point where I was rooting for the day where he was no longer here. I had that with Furkan Korkmaz, right? Like,
well,
there are certain players that I also get the exhaustion from, but there's some guys where I just wonder what led to this. Like Tobias Harris, I think is understandable. A max contract player that disappeared in the playoffs and was your fourth or fifth option offensively. Right. Like that's not good.
Like Embiid, you get
I
it.
totally understand with the injuries.
Like
totally understand.
I wish John was here for this conversation because I would like to hear how the fan base got sick of Mike Schmidt back in the day. Like they gave that guy a ton of hard criticism all the time. He's the best third baseman of all time. Yeah,
only hit solo home runs, and he would get out in the big moments.
Like, how does that guy make you mad? How do you get exhausted of that guy? He's the best third baseman of all time.
Do you ever look at that? Like, for the people who are out on this team or less in on this team than we are, do you ever, like, look at stuff like that? Like, the way that we perceive how Mike Schmidt was treated in this town. And you apply it to modern day and say, damn, should we be trying harder to avoid that being a thing?
I mean, I don't know. Like, look, it's obviously changed. Like Trey Turner getting a standing ovation, like that would never.
No, sure.
Right? Like I get what you're saying. Like Ryan Howard, he strikes out too much. Whereas, I mean, Ryan Howard, if he's not blocked by Jim Tomei for a few years, who knows what his career ends up being.
Like I brought up with this, what are we calling it? You get tired, you get exhausted with a player conversation. I brought up Nelson Aguilar. You know what that dude did? He had a great year at a Super Bowl winning year for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Like things change. Players improve. You get different results year to year. Like, I'm not going to say, well, yeah, that guy sucked. Now that I know he's a Super Bowl champion that played a big part of that team, I'll still remember the time where I thought that, but we got to open our minds and hearts a little bit to the possibility that things could be different.
Could be. Look, I'm more on your side when it comes to that. You are more positive than I am.
Yeah.
And more, what does John call you?
Golden Retriever.
Golden Retriever, yeah. More than I am, but I get what you're saying. I loved Ryan Howard, and yet you would think he struck out 600 times a season and batted 150. All right, coming up next. Speaking of John Kincade, it is amazing how a seemingly quiet day can lead to plenty of content. I'm either going to call you, Connor, a hypocrite or tell you that I'm proud of you.
What did I do?
We're going to play some recent audio from John Kincade. And we'll play you something from Bill Colarulo. It's all in the family coming up next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The story of two starting pitchers. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Aleve. Traffic and body pain can slow you down, but don't let the pain stop you with just one pill. Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief so you can keep moving. Use as directed. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday with the Padres. Game one got off to a rough start as Mick Abel was only able to get through 1 2/3 innings. He walked 5 batters, gave up 5 runs, only allowed 2 hits, but Phils ultimately lost that first game 6-4. Game 2 was a different story. Christopher Sanchez got the start in that one, and he was dominant. Sanchez went 7 innings, struck out 5, allowed 1 run on 5 hits. At the plate, Max Kepler was the 4th Philly of the season to get into double-digit home runs with a 2-run shot last night. The Phils are off today before a 4th of July matchup tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds. Rumors have been swirling about a T.J. Watt trade, and some have linked him to the Eagles. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, and he threw water on that idea.
The fact of the matter is, I think the Eagles are planning and budgeting to pay their own players. So there's so many contractual situations and commitments that you have that it makes it hard all of a sudden to go trade for a T.J. Watt.
And don't look now, we're just 19 days away from the Eagles reporting to training camp on July 22nd. This update was also brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia sports.
Touchdown! Saquon Barkley!
It's 97.5 The Fanatic. Connor in for Johnny on this Wendy's Thursday morning. At some point this hour, we'll give our conversation. You know, it's when we hold each other accountable that's what family's about, right? Holding each other accountable, maybe being harder on one another, loving more one another. It doesn't always have to be hate.
Yeah.
It's like the YouTube family. It doesn't always have to be hate. It can be love. Love is nice. ELE. Everybody love everybody.
All right, Jackie Moon. So what did I tweet yesterday that you have an issue with?
So I'm either proud of you or you're a hypocrite. I'm not sure which one yet. Brendan, you might have to be the judge of this. So yesterday, there was a ridiculously stupid decision made by Brandon Marsh. So if you guys weren't watching game one, he was on first base with 2 outs. And what are one of the cardinal sins in baseball?
You don't make the first or last out at third base.
Correct. Even more so to end the ball game.
Even more so with Kyle Schwarber coming up.
It's the 9th inning. So Trey Turner hits a blooper to center field. A little bit more than a blooper. A little harder hit than a blooper. Not a line shot. And Brandon Marsh, who's on first base, believes it's a good idea to try to get to third. With the tying run, who was the guy that hit the ball, Trey Turner at first base, and the winning run, the guy who was coming up to plate, which is Kyle Schwarber, your best hitter. And Brandon Marsh thinks, this is a good idea. Let me try to get to third base. And it looks like he was out. Manny Machado, the incredible fielder that he is, makes a great stab at his foot, but he misses him by less than an inch. Like, it was such a close play at third base. Ultimately, he's safe. Now, I'm proud of you for pointing out on social media. Connor Thomas's tweet. That's a game-costing decision by Brandon Marsh. You absolutely can't get thrown out there to end the game like that. Horrible. Then they review it. He's safe. You continue to say, Marsh is very, very lucky. Bad decision. Super bailed out. You'll take the result, but that can never happen again. So just last week, the Phillies had a game where they made like 8 mistakes. Horribly dumb mistakes.
Right.
And your first thing was, well, they won.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Brandon Marsh was safe. So that's why it's a little hypocritical. Or I can just be proud of you for going, you know what? Maybe even though the result was the result, I should still be upset with the decision and the stupidity of it.
I don't care if you show up and you play well if you don't win. Like, I don't care about that as much as I care about winning. I'll take bad wins over good losses every single day in a championship contention year. They need to stack wins. That was a base run. See, I'm not in the business of a guy gets thrown out in a 1-0 game in the 4th inning because he's tried to stretch a single into a double when he shouldn't have.
A stupid stretching single into double in a 1-0 ball game where you need to score a run because you've not scored a run yet. So yes, you can rip him for it.
You have a billion more at bats to score a run. It's not just on that player. When you have Kyle Schwarber coming to the plate, 2 outs in the 9th, you get thrown out at third to end the ball game. That is as blatantly black and white. You cost them a chance to win this game as it gets.
Yeah, but he was safe.
He was safe.
Yeah. So that's your logic from last week. Yeah,
no,
but they
won.
won.
No. It's not because they didn't win. It's not safe or out. It's win or lose. Safe or out is not as important
he did
as
not
win or lose.
They did not lose the game because of him yesterday. They lost because Kyle Schwarber made the last out and because Mick Abel pitched an inning in 2/3.
I understand. I don't call these good base runs.
I'm trying to be proud of you.
You should be. I'm trying to be proud of you.
Brandon Marsh is stupid for his base running yesterday. Plain and simple. Safe or out. He was stupid. Now, there was a guy that responded to you saying that was a heads-up play trying to get to scoring position. Second base is still scoring position, guys.
It's not a heads-up play.
Like, because somebody is safe does not make the decision a good one. It was a dumb decision. So I don't know if I'm proud of you or if I'm calling you a hypocrite just yet. All right. All in the family. We continue. It's unfair because he is not here. He is on vacation. But I'm sure it will come up at some point next week, especially if his start gets skipped.
I can't believe you're not here to fight this fight with me next week.
After the game yesterday, Rob Thompson did not make it clear whether or not Mick Abel would be getting another start. Because Mick Abel has been pitching pretty poorly over his last, four outings?
I'd say 3, but I'm trying to remember.
All I know is he got a kiss of death. What date was this?
This is June 20th.
All right, so June 20th. So that is 13 days ago. So June 20th was the day before Mick Abel made a start against the Mets. His previous outing, he went a whole 5 innings and allowed 1 run. Before that, 4 innings and 3 runs against the Cubs. Before that, 5 1/3, 1 earned against the Blue Jays. And before that was the 6 shutout innings against the Pirates. That was the Abel versus Skeens. Really fun day, right? Mm-hmm. The day before the Mets start, John Kincade said this.
I've seen enough of Mick Abel. He's going nowhere in my mind. I am hanging up the phone. I am not going to say, yeah, you can have Mick Abel. No, I want Mick Abel, and I'm hoping that everything that we've heard about other pitchers in the funnel are going to end up being good. But Mick Abel, I am not taking the call. That is going right to voicemail.
Oh, I'm taking the call. Yeah, I'm taking the call, dude. I can't believe you're hanging up.
No, I am not taking. I'm not ditching Mick Abel.
So I'm going to be fair because John's not here.
Yes.
All right. So I'm not going to start ripping John. All I'm going to say is 4 starts should never be enough for anybody, especially a guy who fell out of the top 3 prospect conversation. He dropped to, I think, 11th going into this season. 4 starts where one of them wasn't even good should never be enough for somebody to say, I'm hanging up the phone, unless it's Andrew Painter, who is your top prospect, right? Yeah. Aiden Miller, because he's your second highest prospect. Mick Abel was 11th coming into this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yes. I'm trying to hold myself back a little bit.
Well, because you get to work with him next week, so you guys can have fun.
And we will talk more. Yeah, fun's a way to put it, but we will have the discussion.
The reason why we're playing it is Mick Abel went 1 2/3 yesterday, 5 earned runs on just 2 hits because he walked 5, and it's been a bad couple of starts now for Abel.
And listen, I get it. We've all jumped the gun on guys before.
Yes, we absolutely
we see something
have.
special, and we're like, this guy might be special. It's just you can't do, unless you're talking about a top asset for this team, nobody's off limits.
Exactly.
Unless you're talking about a couple, rotation in the bullpen kind of guys. It sounds like the other teams are going to be hanging up the phone now if you offer them Mick Abel.
That could be
13 days later.
That could be it. All right.
So, hey, either way, the phone call's not happening. Johnny may have been right.
All right. Lastly, our man Bill Colarulo yesterday.
I haven't heard this one yet.
I haven't either. Gunner texted us yesterday, and it's wild because in the 9:25 segment yesterday, you and I discussed what could the Phillies do with the doubleheader, because it was the double righty starting pitching. It was Pivetta in Game 1 and Cease in Game 2. And we know that Rob Thompson likes to do the lefty hitting lineup against right-handed pitching, the righty hitting lineup against left-handed pitching, right? That's nothing really new in baseball. But it was a doubleheader. And right away, we said that JT would not be playing both games because you don't want your catcher doing that. And Bryce Harper would not be playing both games. He just came back from his injury. Well, when the lineup came out for Game 2, this was Bill Colarulo's reaction.
I think the bigger issue here right now, and this is not me just sounding the alarms for the sake of sounding the alarms, is that Bryce Harper is not playing tonight. He just came back from the IL. There was no game yesterday. There is no game tomorrow. If you brought him back, how can he not play tonight? And if this was a decision they made before the game, we would have known that. And you would have heard Rob Thompson say right after Game 1 when he was asked by the media, which I played for you earlier, how's Bryce feeling? He said, trainer says he's okay, but I'm going to check with him to see how he's feeling before making a decision about tonight. So clearly he must not have been feeling well, because why would they not have him in the lineup tonight? It's not something that was decided beforehand. To me, that is the biggest story that is coming out of Game 1. Not the bad base running, not even the fact that Mick Abel's trade value is dropping, is how healthy is Bryce Harper going to be down the stretch? Andrew, am I crazy for being worried here?
So you said you were a 10 out of 10. I'm probably at an 8 out of 10.
Boys, I'm going to have to talk to Andrew DeCecco tomorrow morning about the 8 out of 10. It should be a 1 out of 10.
So, again, 9:25 a.m., we said he's not going to play in both games.
There is no chance.
Without any sources, it's just, he just came back from injury. He's probably not going to play in both games. Period.
Yeah. That's not complicated to me. They're going to be cautious with him. We played the audio a billion times of what Bryce Harper said about looking at off days and stuff. It's a doubleheader. They might have done it even if he was fully healthy.
Topper, after game 2, when he was asked about it, I didn't want to risk it. He was available to pinch hit. He felt fine. I just didn't want to get him heated up again. Now, if the game was on the line, we'd go. That's the only reason, just precaution.
Told you he was available to pinch hit.
Now, that was after game 2. Bill reacted to the lineup coming out, to be fair, because, again, I like to be fair. I just thought that was an insane reaction.
10 out of 10 concern.
When the lineup came out, I was just like, okay, this is the lineup.
No surprise.
I was not surprised at all that he wasn't playing. Oh, it's all in the family. All right, coming up next, we've reached a time in July now where we have more and more lists, and we've reached a time in the year of 2025 where we get to talk about quarter century lists. Who made the quarter century list for the Eagles only edition? We'll go through that coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
We want to hear from you.
So text. 6:40 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Connor in for Johnny today. Let's get a text message on any of our topics. We've been talking about when you reach a level of exhaustion with an athlete, what causes it? What gets you there? And if you have any of those players, tell us who it is. And, of course, we're also reacting to the report from Jim Bowden that Nick Castellanos could potentially be on the move at the trade deadline if they get a better right fielder. 610-632-0975. Let's get a text, and then we'll go through Jimmy Kempski's all-quarter century team for the Eagles.
We got Joe the Cynic checking in, and with the name maybe only Joe the Cynic would name. I'm exhausted by one that nobody else will say, Tyrese Maxey. One time down the court, I just like to see him shoot or drive and not cry about a non-call. He's good, but he's not a 3-time MVP. Shut up and get back on defense.
You are maybe the only person, Joe, that has that thought.
So Tyrese Maxey does put the hands out a lot.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey deserves to put the hands out a lot.
He gets one of the worst whistles
He
based
really
on quality
does.
of player in the NBA.
He really does. And that's been a talking point for a couple of years now. Now, I get it. Like, there was the moment
against the Knicks.
Where he's on the floor complaining about not getting a call, and the play was still going on. And that's when Josh Hart hit one of the big shots. And, like, I get it. But at that game, he was also dealing with the flu and was like on the floor. But whatever. That's the only person I think I know that's exhausted by Tyrese Maxey. To say he's not a superstar, fair.
Right, he's not a 3-time MVP.
But to say you're exhausted, look, that's his personal opinion, so I can't say fair or unfair. It's just how he
here's
feels.
the thing. Let's do NBA for like just 1 second here. Throw it out his hands. He's not a 3-time MVP. Get back down the floor. Jalen Brunson gets an unbelievable whistle. What does he want?
Yeah.
Right? Like
2 natties.
I mean, stop.
National Player of the Year.
Let's do NBA basketball.
James Harden. James Harden complains all the time.
Right? Like, that's the NBA.
It is the NBA.
There are mad people who are out there foul baiting left and right trying to get to the line. It's not just Tyrese Maxey. It's not just superstars.
All right. Jimmy Kempski did his all-quarter century team. He did the whole 53-man roster, which is amazing. He's got backups and everything. I'll try to go through the starters, but I'm sure there will be some points where I'll stop and I'll tell you who the backups are. Because first and foremost, right away, quarterback, he goes Jalen Hurts. And he has McNabb as the backup and Foles as the third-string guy. And he does say McNabb was more talented than Hurts, which I agree. But
individually talented.
He says I'm a sucker for quarterbacks who play well in the biggest moments. And obviously McNabb, we know a lot of the stories. Whereas Jalen Hurts has uplifted his game, and that's why you've been to 2 Super Bowls and won one of them. And in the one that you lost, he played better than Patrick Mahomes.
I have no issue with any of those ratings.
Running back, he has Saquon Barkley already as the lead back, with Shady as the 2, B. West as the 3, Darren Sproles as the 4. That's your special teams guy right there. Darren
you need it. Did we talk about this yesterday, the Saquon thing, and if he's one of the all-time great?
That was yesterday.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Like, I don't know, man.
Because it was 1 year, but it might be. I mean, look, he has T.O. in his wide receivers. He has A.J. Brown as the 1, T.O. as the 2, and Deshaun as your slot receiver. And T.O. only did it for a year and change, but mainly for a year.
If we're talking just talent alone, absolutely. Now, longevity has got to be part of the discussion in some sense.
But the precedent was set with the quarterback is not just talent alone. Because McNabb's the backup.
But uplifting that in the biggest moments is just like, maybe Jimmy Kempski's a moments guy.
Maybe.
Welcome to the squad.
Maybe. He does have Devontae on there, just not as one of the starters. He also has Alshon and Macklin. Tight end, Zach Ertz, he goes TE1 with Dallas Goedert, number 2, and Brent Selleck, number 3. I think that's fair, like, depending on what you're looking for. Obviously, Zach Ertz was not a good blocking tight end. Dallas Goedert, far superior when it comes to that. But Zach Ertz, the better hands catcher.
Yeah, easily.
Dallas Goedert, better after the catch. We literally called him No Yak. We called him No Yak Zach for a reason. Offensive line. Here's his from left tackle to right tackle. And I don't think you can debate any of this. Even though we all love Jordan Mailata, he has Jason Peters.
Fair.
Hall of Famer. Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. Now, here's the deal. You got to have backups. He has Mailata, Juergens, Trey Thomas, Sean Andrews, Todd Harrimans.
Yeah, I got no issue with any of that.
No problem with that.
Also, hell of an offensive line group.
Well, and that's why yesterday when we talked to Shefty about is there a way to build a team? Like, do teams try to, mirror how other teams do it? What is the smartest way? I still believe that the Eagles, even though it took until 2017 to win it, when they realized, when Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman and Andy first, then Howie, wanted to build through the trenches, that's why they have been one of the more successful franchises in the NFL since the turn of the century. Even though it's led to only, in quotes, 2 Super Bowls, because we've seen the Chiefs and Patriots win as many as they have, the fact that they have built through the offensive line and defensive line for as long as they've had and put so much attention to it, that's why they're one of the more successful organizations in football. Edge rushers now on the defense. Trent Cole and Brandon Graham are your 2 edge rushers.
Gotta be.
Again, quarter century. So, no, Reggie White did not play in the 2000s. Hassan Reddick, Hugh Douglas, Connor Barwin, your others. Your defense.
Hassan Reddick's a weird pick there, but
I had a 17 and a half. How many sacks did he have that one season?
I know. I guess that's just the recency bias of how it ended.
I just don't know who else you'd put in there.
Yeah.
Jason Babin and his 18 sacks.
Hey, good pull, Gunner.
Like, Nolan Smith can't be on there yet.
No.
Honestly, Nolan Smith played his best in the playoffs.
Javon Curse.
He was dog water, dude.
He was hurt.
7.5 sacks back to back. He was a disappointment.
Yeah, because he got hurt.
Jaquay Thomas and Jaquay Parker.
Yeah.
2 of them at the same time.
Jaquays make it?
No, they did not. Your interior defensive linemen, Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter, your starters. There's literally no debate there. Corey Simon, Mike Patterson, Javon Hargrave were the others. So Jordan Davis not on there.
I think that's
fine.
fair.
Javon Hargrave got paid because of what he did here.
He was really good.
He was very, very good. Linebackers, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., just kidding. Jeremiah Trotter, Sr., and Zach Bond already. Look, linebacker sucks so much for the longest time.
Rines was all right, I guess.
He was okay. He has him on there as a backup, as well as Carlos Emmons. Your corners, he has 3 of them. He goes Asante, Quignon, and Coop. Darius Slay not on there.
2 guys who are rookies this past year are already on the all-quarter.
Sheldon Brown?
Sheldon Brown, Troy Vincent, and Darius Slay are your backups. Now, I know
that's not over Darius. Come on now.
I'm kind of surprised. if I'm not lying to you, I'm kind of surprised that Darius Slay is not one of the 3 starters on there.
Like, if we're doing one season, James Bradbury wasn't all pro.
Right,
Quinyon Mitchell wasn't.
That's true.
Like, I'm not arguing that he's better than Quinyon, but like, if we're basing off one season.
See, there's some debates in here.
There are. Safety, Brian Dawkins, Malcolm Jenkins, and then the backups, CJ, GJ, and Rodney McLeod.
Okay.
And then Jake Elliott, Donnie Jones, and John Dorenbos as your special teams.
I miss Donnie Jones.
Donnie Jones, bag of bones. We had a guy that would call Mike once a week going, man, honestly, I think the best player on the team is Donnie Jones, bag of bones. And then he'd hang up every week.
I love it.
Every week. I kept on changing his number, kept on changing his name. Unbelievable. All right, coming up next, we'll reset today's topics. Also, how many of those players that we just went through could potentially reach Canton? We'll talk about that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The story of 2 starting pitchers. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. The Phillies split their doubleheader with the Padres yesterday. Game 1 got off to a rough start as Mick Abel was only able to get through 1 2/3 innings. He walked 5 batters, only allowed 2 hits, but gave up 5 runs. The Phillies ultimately lost that first game 6-4. Game 2 was a different story, though. Christopher Sanchez got the start in that one, and he was dominant. Sanchez went 7 innings, struck out 5, only allowed 1 run on 5 hits. At the plate, Max Kepler became the 4th Philly to hit double-digit home runs on the season last night with the 2-run shot. The Phillies are off today before a 4th of July matchup tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds. Rumors have been swirling about a TJ Watt trade in the NFL, and some have linked him to the Eagles. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, and he threw water on that idea.
And the fact of the matter is, I think the Eagles are planning and budgeting to pay their own players. So there's so many contractual situations situations and commitments that you have that it makes it hard all of a sudden to go trade for a T.J. Watt.
And don't look now, we're just 19 days away from the Eagles reporting to training camp on July 22nd. This update was also brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at Wendy's, terms apply. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, the Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Texting, the easiest and most... Their hamburger buns. It's unbelievable.
It's a lot of meat.
Like, I love their burrito. As you know, I have fallen in love with the Wendy's breakfast burrito, but this thing might be the one seed.
The breakfast burrito has been on vacation for like 2 weeks for you, and you've just been running around town trying all the other Wendy's stuff.
Well,
I mean, no loyalty to the breakfast burrito.
Well, hold on. I mean, you should always try new foods. I think that's an important thing to do.
You said you were in love.
I am in love. And it's why it's the number one seed right
There's
now.
enough room for love of
Power
multiple.
rankings change, bro. Rankings change every single week in the NFL, MLB, NHL,
you
NBA.
tell Christy that?
It can continue with food only, man. All right, let's give out our second of our four $50 Wendy gift cards. Brendan, give me a number to give to the people.
69. No, 4.
Caller 4 at 610-632-0975. Caller 4 will get our second of our four $50 Wendy's gift cards. Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 biggie bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. All right, last segment, we went through the Jimmy Kempski all-quarter century Philadelphia Eagles team. And I think for the most part, we agreed with a lot of them. You know, you could move some guys around. I think the only one I really did not agree with was already having Quinyon Mitchell over Darius Slay. Quinyon Mitchell had an elite season last year. Darius Slay was a great corner for many years here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it wasn't like even last year that Quinyon stood out significantly against Slay, right? When you compare,
right? It's not like they had. The Seahawks game from a few years ago, they just kept picking on Bradbury, right?
Yeah,
because you could tell that's the guy that they were going to be able to cook. It's not that they didn't throw to Slay because Quinyon Mitchell was bad, and it's not like they didn't throw to Mitchell because Darius Slay was bad. They were both
really good.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
And Darius Slay was good for an extended period of time here in Philadelphia. Now, if you want to project that Quinyon Mitchell could have a better career than Darius Slay, sure.
Go for it.
You could try to make that point, but Darius Slay had a hell of a career. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler with the Eagles.
That's pretty darn good.
And Quinyon, and like, I know Darius Slay, the whole big play Slay, people got tired of calling him big play Slay because they thought he didn't make many big plays because he didn't have many interceptions here. I believe a lot of that was scheme-based. Quinyon Mitchell did not have an interception to win.
The round against the Packers.
Yeah.
Divisional round.
So you can't even give me the interceptions conversation. Like, that's the one that I will disagree with the most. All right, so the divisional. Eagles won the division, my man. They didn't play in the wild card.
I'm an idiot. Wait.
Well, yes.
No.
We know that.
No, because divisional was Rams. Conference championship was Commanders. Super Bowl was Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have a bye. It's only one team
My
gets
man.
the bye. Screw you. All right.
And you're the football guy on this show.
I am the football guy.
So I baited him by pretending like I didn't know that, Brendan?
You're so smart. All right. Are any of these players that we went through Canton bound?
Well, yeah.
So Jalen Hurts legitimately could be one day.
I'm not there yet with him.
No, could be. I mean, if they keep on winning games, like again, Terry Bradshaw's in the Hall of Fame for winning 4 Super Bowls. Now you have to get to 4, but I also think Hurts will have better numbers than Terry Bradshaw, right?
Yes.
McNabb, I thought there was a chance. It's not going to happen. Foles, obviously not. His jersey's in the Hall of Fame, but he himself will not be in the Hall of Fame. Saquon will be an interesting case because he had a couple of years where he missed a lot of games.
Yeah, he did.
So he will be an interesting case to keep an eye on. If he compiles a couple more 1,500-yard seasons, then
it should get it done.
I think it's a possibility, but I don't believe that he is a lock right now. T.O. obviously already in it. Deshaun won't be. A.J. Brown, we'll see.
Maybe. He's got a shot.
We'll see. I mean, Andrew Zacheca literally said the other day that he believes he's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. Period, he said.
Yeah.
Like, he is the best wide receiver in the NFL. So we'll see. Zach Ertz, maybe.
I think so, probably.
Because if you're comparing it position by position, this is why, like, Jimmy Rollins needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And I think it's criminal that he's not. Like, if you look at the shortstops that are already in the Hall of Fame, Jimmy Rollins should be in the Hall of Fame. If you look at the tight ends that are in the Hall of Fame, or could be, I mean, Zach Ertz, whose record was it that he broke? Jason Witten's, like, completions in a season record, something like that.
Yeah, I forget who it was. But also he's done it for a long enough time that the compilation stats are there.
Could be. Could be.
I think he makes
I don't think he screams Hall of Fame. If I'm being honest, I don't think he screams Hall of Fame, but there's a chance.
No, not at face value, but I think the numbers will get him there.
Okay. Peters, yes. Lane Johnson, as long as they don't
absolutely
worry about the PEDs.
Is Peyton Manning in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Did he not have an issue?
Who, Peyton Manning?
Yeah. With the whole neck thing and everything? They don't care about that.
Gotcha.
He's in.
Jason Kelsey will be in.
Yes.
And then we'll see about Dickerson. Brandon Brooks won't be, but he was very, very good.
Yeah, just not a long enough stretch, I guess, for
Yeah.
him, but he was incredible.
I don't think Brandon Graham will be.
You don't?
I don't know.
I think he's right on. Well, I guess I think he's right on the edge. So I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think he's an Eagle Hall of Fame, right? Like, that's no question.
Yeah. Hall of very good.
He only had one double-digit sack season his entire career. He's not making the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not.
Maybe that's wishful thinking.
We love him because of what he did for this city and for this franchise, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Like Trent Cole, I think has more of a chance, and I don't believe that Trent Cole's getting it. By the way, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, BZ Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Unless, like, the rings holds value, which he has 2 Super Bowl rings. Like, maybe that does hold value.
It does, but, like, well, I was going to say less so for a edge rusher, but he did have the monster play in the first one, so I don't know.
Fletcher Cox, I think, has a shot.
Yeah.
It was him and Aaron Donald, right? And Aaron Donald's going to be a first ballot guy. Dawkins was not first ballot, right?
I thought he was.
I'm trying to remember if he was, because remember he was. A lot of people thought he'd be hurt by playing in the same era as Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu.
I can't imagine that Brian Dawkins was not a first ballot.
He was not.
I didn't think that he was.
Huh.
Because Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu were both first ballot Hall of Famers, and I think that hurt him that he was playing at the same time as those guys. So I wonder maybe Fletcher Cox has a similar.
Yeah, with Donald, where he'll have to wait a little bit.
Yeah. Linebacker, no. Cornerback, not right now. And then safety, we already know Brian Dawkins is already in it. I don't think Malcolm Jenkins would make it, or CJ GJ or Ronnie McLeod, but you see a couple of guys on here that could be Canton bound. It's we've had it good for this quarter century.
You know what else is crazy? You go through all of those different groups, and not the specialists, because obviously, whatever, there's one guy for that. But when you're talking about all the different groups on that team of offensive line, defensive line, the all quarter century team, every single position or position group has a player that was on last year's team.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are still here.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a single spot where you didn't have a guy or don't still have a guy that is on the Eagles quarter century team. That's crazy. Like, that just shows you how good this team is, even compared to a great stretch of Eagles football.
Yeah, and that's why they won the Super Bowl, and that's why there is a legitimate shot that we could be talking about a repeat.
Right.
Whereas the last time, I think we got duped a little bit just because we were in our feelings. Now we have learned that being young still helps out a lot. Joseph Brennan believes Fletcher Cox does get in on the YouTube chat. Jim G's wondering if he has the numbers to get in. Again, he was a defensive tackle.
Right, so numbers are kind of, you don't really have the stack numbers from that position.
It's a little bit different. I mean, again, that's why Aaron Donald was
like lock.
Yeah, and will probably be going down as the greatest defensive tackle in the history of the NFL, or one of. All right, what do we got in the text line, Brendan? We've been talking about the Nick Castellanos trade rumors that came out yesterday from Jim Bowden. And Nick Castellanos is one of those players where he doesn't have the entire fan base at his back, right? Not everybody has his back. And there is a level of exhaustion because of maybe the attitude, or because of the swinging at the sliders low and away. I wonder why some players reach a level of exhaustion for many fans, and what does it take? Injuries with Embiid, I totally understand. Nick Castellanos, that's one I don't. I like Nick Castellanos and what he's done for the Phillies other than the first year. And then we've seen him be a playoff performer for this team. I don't understand that weird relationship that Phillies fans have with Nick Castellanos, much like I don't understand the weird relationship Eagles fans have with Darius Slay. What do we got in the text line?
No name on this one. Someone from Texas, though. They said, for me, I'm not tired of Nick himself, the player, but I'm tired of his families and using social media to bash the coaching decisions.
And Connor, you brought that up earlier in the show, how that could be a part of it. And look, somebody might say, well, that's not Nick.
That would be my argument.
But you don't think Nick and his wife talk?
They do.
You know what I mean? Like, she has every right to defend her husband. Right? Yeah. Like, I have no problem with it. It was the one that I thought was a little out of line was when Nick's mom, who I like, we follow each other on social media. She's a nice
You guys
person.
are besties.
We are besties. When she deleted the tweet
About Kepler and
it wasn't a shot at Kepler. It was more so at the expense of Max Kepler's error in that game against the Marlins, the game that Nick Castellanos was benched in.
yeah, and I get if people are annoyed by that. I do. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and it's a personal problem. I don't have the bandwidth for the off the field stuff.
Well, but here's the thing. I love that they are a tight family. Like I think that's awesome.
I agree.
Like I love my family. You know what I mean? Now, if my dad came on social media every time somebody said Andrew
Like
sucks,
when I filled in for John, and he was just like, "See."
I would tell my dad, "Yo, dude, stop. Like, I don't need you fighting my battles for me, right? Like, but I appreciate it because we're family, right?
Right.
I love that they're a tight family.
No, I
love
do
that
too.
Liam is there, and like I think that's so cool.
I'm just saying, in the city of Philadelphia, I don't know how some of you folks live your lives because, to me, there is enough drama that these teams create on the field, court, ice, whatever, to keep me busy for a year, right? So I don't worry about what happens on social media or on a podcast or anything like that, like unless it's something major.
Sometimes the podcasts, like when they're talking about their own teammates, like Darius Slay, until you hear a player speak out saying it doesn't bother you, that's immediate human reaction is, uh-oh, what's going on here?
A slight uh-oh, but like for me, it's more, are you getting the results on the field? That is number one.
You're a
priority.
results-based guy.
Yes.
I get it. That's why you were happy that Brandon Marsh was safe at third. Stupid base running.
Was very dumb.
All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Brendan Gunn. I believe you have one moment in history. I might be able to add a second one. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like ground?
11 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We have today's headlines coming up in a few minutes with Brendan Gunn. Crazy story yesterday. Did you see the unfortunate plane crash in Williamstown, New Jersey?
No, I didn't.
So they have the skydiving.
Oh, yeah. Right by Scotland Run. And everything.
And the plane, they were going in for an emergency landing, and it crashed. But
Jesus.
According to the CBS News, national CBS News, everybody survived. Now, bad injuries,
right,
as you can imagine. But as of right now, they said as of right now, because I'm sure there are a few people in critical condition, so we hope that they come out of this. But yeah, they said, quote, "It's amazing at this point that there are no fatalities reported. There are some injuries reported to be severe or critical. Again, people received tremendous medical treatment on scene. A joint effort between police officers, firefighters, and EMS crews who first arrived at the scene." And that's why, look, I respect anybody,
Yeah, first responders.
Yeah.
Big time.
Look, I mean, I joke around about my wife all the time, nurses and doctors. Like, I respect the hell out of those people. And the people that first got to the scene, that's a dangerous scene, right? Like a plane crash with jet fuel and everything. So we hope that everybody comes out of this alive and okay and can continue to live happy lives. But crazy story right in our own backyard where a plane crashed. And as of right now, all 15 members survived. It's wild.
Yeah.
Wild. All right, Gunnar, give us one text message, and then we will get to the headlines.
All right, we got Jay in Westchester checking in, saying, "I can't get behind the trepidation with the Phillies. The Sixers, I get it, but although this team has regressed in the playoffs, the Phils, that is, they've improved in the regular season each season the past 3 years. I don't blame the team for the holes they have as much as I do the GM. I'm still happy with this team."
Oh, yeah, that's why, again, when people, constantly rip Rob Thompson or something, I go, look up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
I get it. Topper does some questionable things. You questioned the Christopher Sanchez decision yesterday. I get it. But when it comes to guys being in the game for too long because you don't want to go to the bullpen too early, whose fault is that?
Yeah,
It's not
or
Rob Thompson's fault.
guys getting pulled in the starting rotation because you want to extend them, and then you look around the division, and their starting pitchers dropping left and right with major injuries.
Yeah.
It just...
You want to be careful.
The bigger problem is this team was not built good enough for a lot of people.
No.
And I can understand why people feel that way.
Right.
And
When people complain about, oh, man, it was Weston Wilson. Why is Weston Wilson playing over Max Kepler? They both aren't good.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and is that Rob Thompson's fault?
No.
It's Dave Dombrowski's fault. Dave Dombrowski, right, I thought, has done a poor job since last year's trade deadline with how this roster is being built. He has the chance to redeem himself in a couple of weeks. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Brendan Gunn.
Today's headlines with the one and only Brendan Gunn.
Brought to us by who?
The one and only Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. And we've been talking about players that people grow sick of, and it could be for a variety of reasons. Mainly, sometimes, being on commercials, oversaturated. And you could talk about Jason Kelce, or you could talk about Jason Kelce's brother, who you know is with T Swift. And he just made his appearance on SNL. And he talked about the hardest part about being on SNL when he appeared on Bussin' with the Boys, that podcast by Barstool. Mm-hmm. And he said the hardest part about it was reading. He said the writer's room was fun because we're just pitching ideas. The reading table, though, for a guy that can't read that well, that was an effed situation.
I get it.
Sure. I'm sorry that he doesn't read all that well.
I don't read too good.
I don't read too good.
He's good at catching footballs.
He's very, Keep on playing football. Taylor will read you the bedtime stories. It's good.
You tell me, would you rather have the guy that tries to present himself as smarter, talking about the athlete? Or would you rather have the Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce steer into the curve of the dumb jock?
Sometimes Gronk's over the top with it. Too much for me.
I don't know, man. That just might be who Gronk
I know.
is.
Sometimes too much for me.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's, all right, I got to turn this off because he's being too much right now.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, and this isn't why they did it. They did it for fashion, but, I think back to when Russell Westbrook started the fake glasses trend in the NBA.
And all of a sudden everybody's, a professor.
Exactly. But then the anti to that would be just like, I don't even know how to read.
Right. Hey, he's honest. It's good. That's nice.
All right, moving on. We had a little bit of history last night go down in Los Angeles. Clayton Kershaw became the 20th pitcher all-time to get 3,000 strikeouts, the 4th lefty all-time to do it, and the 3rd pitcher to stay on the same team while achieving that accomplishment. I got the quick call of the TV call last night. Obviously, it was just the strikeout, and they let it breathe for 3 minutes while he celebrated. So here's a quick little of the call.
The ravine rises, ready to erupt.
That's a pop right there.
That is a pop. Clayton Kershaw.
Not the glove because he throws 72 now, but
a lot of fun to watch throughout his entire career. That curveball, it's an iconic curveball, like a Barry Zito curveball. It's an iconic pitch.
Yeah, he's an all-time great. It's a very cool moment for him.
Now, there was another historic moment for an individual player yesterday. Maybe not history. Trey Turner stole his 300th base yesterday.
Did he, though? Pizza box bases, they don't count.
Oh, no, not that.
They let him steal second.
Which was stupid.
So a couple of things that's stupid there. This was Kyle Schwarber's up to bat. So they did the defensive indifference where they're not even holding them. They let him swipe second base. I don't understand why you would let him swipe second base. You have 2 forces now if he's at first base, unless you wanted to just play your first baseman back because Kyle Schwarber's a lefty. What if he hits it down the line? You could knock it down, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some sort of strategy to it. I didn't agree with it. But it was not a stolen base. So I'll ask you. You're like one thing away from a mark. Do you want to do it the real way, or do you not care how you get it?
It depends on how sick it is either way. Like, if I'm 1 home run away from something and a guy plates me a fastball, I still get to hit it out. But if it's like you're 1 game away from an on-base streak and they walk you, that would piss me off.
Dude, it's Mike Evans. They put him in when he shouldn't have been in the game to get that 1,000 yards, and it's phony.
Well, it's because Mike Evans has never not had a sub 1,000 yard season.
So let's put him in for no reason and risk getting hurt, even though we got a playoff game.
But he still had to play.
Yeah, and they didn't let him.
They still defended him. Whereas Trey Turner, they literally did not defend the steal. There is a rule where that's not a stolen base. It's called defensive indifference. But because it was at Citizens Bank Park,
that rule don't exist.
A little home cooking yesterday. Oh, congratulations, steal number 300. When you're going, was it though?
But also, congrats to Trey.
Yes, congrats to Trey Turner. When you steal 301, I'll give you the standing ovation.
You already got one.
It's 300. To me, that one, not necessarily a stolen base. All right, coming up next. So NBC Sports Philadelphia is doing their annual summertime list of the most important Eagles heading into the season. Last year, before they did the top 10, we tried guessing it, if you remember.
Yeah.
We'll try to do that next.
Ooh, cool.
It's Kincade and Salciunas, Connor and for Johnny here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies split their doubleheader. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday against the Pirates. Game 1 got off to a rough start as Mick Abel was only able to get through 1 2/3 innings. He walked 5 batters and gave up 5 runs in that 1 2/3 innings. Phillies ultimately lost that game 6-4. Game 2, though, that was a different story. Christopher Sanchez was on the mound for that one, and he was dominant. Sanchez went 7 innings, struck out 5, only allowed 1 run on 5 hits. At the plate, Max Kepler became the 4th Philly to hit double-digit home runs on the season last night with his 2-run shot. The Phils are off today before a 4th of July matchup against the Cincinnati Reds tomorrow. Rumors have been swirling about a TJ Watt trade, and some have linked him to the Eagles, though Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, and he threw water on that idea.
The fact of the matter is I think the Eagles are planning and budgeting to pay their own players. So there's so many contractual situations and commitments that you have that it makes it hard all of a sudden to go trade for a TJ Watt.
And don't look now, the Birds report to training camp in just 19 days on July 22nd. This update was also brought to you by Indeed.com. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, home of the Flyers, and home of the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like Groundhog
July. I hope everybody has a great time this weekend. I'm pulling the move of avoiding the shore until after the 4th of July, which is why I took off next week. It's just a very strategic move on my part.
Wait, hang on. So you're off tomorrow, and you're not going down the shore. And I'm working tomorrow, and I am going down the shore.
Yeah.
You see anything wrong with that, Begun?
I got to prepare for
That's odd.
I got to prepare for a barbecue on the 5th. You're not complaining about it, are you?
No, I'm
You
not.
can take my beer.
No, I'll take a beer.
Gunnar,
cut down.
you and the future missus are invited as well.
Down the shore?
No, to my house.
Oh, I'll be down the shore.
You don't want to come to my house.
Everyone's going down the shore for the holiday.
Yeah, and then I'm going
Don't
down.
act like
and
you're
then
the normal
And then
one.
I'm going down on Monday. I'm the smart one. Might not be the normal one, but I'm the smart one. All right. So NBC Sports Philadelphia, I remember them doing it last year. I don't know if they've been doing it for many years, but Dave Zangaro, and I believe it's a combination of Zangaro and Ruben Frank, they do the most important Eagles heading into the upcoming season. And it's always 25 players. So they have not done the top 10 yet. So what we're going to do is try to guess and obviously give our own input on it. So just so you guys know, 25 is rookie safety Andrew Makuba, 24 Jahan Dotson, Tanner McKee, Tyler Steen, Azeez Ojulari, Moro Jomo is at 20, Keely Ringo is at 19, Jahad Campbell 18, Jalix Hunt 17, Jordan Davis 16, Reed Blankenship 15, Dallas Goedert 14, Cam Jurgens is 13. Now, a couple of things just off of that alone. Reed Blankenship being 15, I actually believe is too low, considering he might be one of the leadership council guys. And if he's playing safety next to who I believe is not that great of a player in Sidney Brown or a rookie in Andrew Makuba, then that makes Reed Blankenship a little bit more under the spotlight. You guys hear me critical of Blankenship. It's not that I'm necessarily critical. It's that there are people that I think sometimes overrate him. I think he's been great with CJ. We saw it last season. We saw it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The year in between, when he was the safety, the number one guy, it was not good.
He's very good in very good situations.
Correct. I believe he should actually be in the top 10. Now, depending on what you think is important. So they have Keely Ringo at 19. Keely Ringo might be the starting corner on the other side of Quinyon Mitchell. Mm-hmm. If teams aren't throwing to Q because they don't want to, that means they're throwing to the other side.
Yeah.
And it is important for Keely Ringo to have a good season or at least be an average corner.
But we don't know if he's the starter yet.
Right.
Which is
and
why
that makes it a little bit difficult. And so Cam Jurgens at 13. We don't know 12 and 11. Like Sidney Brown has not been mentioned. Is he not in the top 25?
I'd imagine he's not.
Or is he 12 or 11 because of the other safety spot?
Well, if they go Makuba and Reed Blankenship on there, I got to assume he's not on it at all.
He's probably not on it, correct. So I put down my top 10. And it's not necessarily I'm guessing what Dave will write. I'm guessing who he will have in the top 10. And again, this is my opinion, and I know you wrote yours down. And
yeah, I had
Brandon, I
one
want to hear
guy
yours as well.
That was already listed.
Was it Blankenship or
It was
Jordan
listed
Davis?
low. It was neither.
Who?
Tyler Steen. He was listed very low. Because I don't know how I can call, like, I have justifications for all these. I don't know how I can look at those other offensive linemen and be like, I'm looking at them as very important Eagles because I'm so sure they're good.
Yeah.
They're almost forgotten about. Tyler Steen's the only question.
So I didn't write Landon Dickerson in my top 10.
I didn't either.
I would put him at 11 or 12. And that would leave me with 2 offensive linemen, which would be Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. So here's my order. Number 1 is Jalen Hurts. And I know people go, oh, of course, the quarterback. I've been saying to you guys for months now, because of the workload that Saquon Barkley had last year, I think Jalen Hurts will have to throw the football more this year. I believe defenses will stack the box and say, let's try to let Jalen Hurts beat us. We don't want Saquon to beat us. So I think Saquon's 2,000-plus yard rushing season drops to 1,500. That means Jalen Hurts is going to have to find other ways to win the football games, which I believe he can.
Yeah.
But he has to do it.
I've got Hurts at 1 as well.
All right. Number 2, I put Jalen Carter.
Also have Jalen Carter.
Because the defense, again, edge rusher is still a question mark. It starts with him. Mm-hmm. He's going to eat up 3 offensive linemen. even if he's not getting to the quarterback, I need him to be playing at a certain level where the defenses fear him so much that it allows other possibilities for other players, like a Moro Ojomo, like a Ty Robinson, the rookie defensive tackle out of Nebraska, the other edge rushers who you're saying, all right, are those guys going to step up? Number 3, I put Lane Johnson. And the reason why I have Lane Johnson, we've gone through it before, the record with him, the record without him, they are well below 500 when he is not on the field.
Let me ask you this. If either of those two have a bad season, Carter or Lane Johnson, which hurts the team more? A Lane Johnson bad season or a Jalen Carter bad season?
Well, Jalen Carter bad season could still be getting double teams. A Lane Johnson bad season means Jalen Hurts is getting hit constantly.
That's why I kind of lean towards Lane at 2.
Okay.
For that reason. Because
I don't know.
I mean, you're splitting hairs.
Let's just live in a world where Lane Johnson stinks. The rest of your offensive line are still monsters. You roll him out left as much as you can, and you try and
you put some tight end. You put some tight end help.
Jalen Hurts rolling out left, opposite of his throwing arm. That he doesn't have the strongest arm to begin with.
I got you. We're creating this hypothetical scenario.
Yeah. All right, but this is 2-3. That's all right.
I have Lane at 8.
Wow,
I have him way down.
Okay, we'll get there then. So then, who do you have at 3?
I have Cooper DeJean at 3.
I have him at 8. That's funny.
Look at that. So the reason I have him at 3 is because he is the guy that is most likely to shoulder the load of a bad defensive backfield. If they have issues at outside corner, it's going to be him moving out there. If they have issues at safety, it very well could be him moving there. He's going to have to be awesome in the slot. That guy is basically your fail-safe for 3 different positions on your defense. And that, to me, is very important.
Okay. Well, and we all have reasoning for it. Like, I have him at 8. I don't have Quinyon Mitchell in my top 10. And Cooper DeJean, because I believe the slot corner is the most important cornerback position there is and the most difficult position to play. And so that's why I have him ahead of Quinyon Mitchell. But I'll get to 8. 4, I have A.J. Brown for my reasoning of Jalen Hurts needs to throw the football more this year. The receiver needs to be able to catch.
Okay.
And so I have A.J. Brown at 4.
I have Nolan Smith.
Okay.
Pass rush, Jalen Carter is going to be a huge part. That's why he's number 2 on this list. But if he's getting double teamed, they take him away. The next guy up is Nolan Smith.
I have Smith at 6, so it's not like I'm not far off from you. I have Saquon at 5 because they are still going to have to run the football. Like that's
kind of weird that we had that one in the midst of all the flip-flops.
Yeah. I have Nolan at 6. So who do you have at 6?
I have Zach Bond.
All right, I have Zach Bond in my 10, but I don't have him at 6. Where are you at, Gunnar? Have you been? Did you do the exercise?
Same names.
Okay.
I took it the wrong way and wrote down who the guessing's Dan Garrow's top 10.
Okay,
same but different.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan Mailata I put at 7 just because the left tackle blindside position that puts you higher than 8, 9, or 10 in my opinion.
Yeah, I had AJ at 7.
Okay.
So you've already had him come off the board.
DeJean I put it at 8 for the reasons I gave you.
And then I have Lane.
And then I put Zach Bond at 9. Maybe could be higher because I don't know who's going to be playing with him to start the season. There's no word that Nakobe Dean will be available week 1. Jahad Campbell.
I'm assuming that he's not, by the way.
Yeah, I'm under that assumption as well. And so then it's going to be rookie Jahad Campbell, who is also dealing with injuries in his own right. So we'll see. And then I put Devontae Smith at 10 just because A.J. Brown's going to get attention. If Jalen Hurts is throwing the football more, Devontae Smith will have to also do his.
Yeah, I had Q at 9 because if Keely Ringo is an issue on the outside or if they've got an issue on one side, I can't, he's got to be really, really locked down because you need to at least have something defensively. He's the only guy that I fully
my
trust.
11. If I did 11, Quinyon Mitchell's 11.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think, so Quinyon Mitchell's not in my top 10. He's in yours. Is there somebody in my 10 that's not in yours?
I didn't have Mailata. You had Mailata?
Okay. Yeah, I had my left tackle, blindside.
Yeah, I went Steen just because he's the unknown.
So you did put Steen in your top 10?
I did.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no.
He's the only unknown on the offensive line. Maybe on the whole offense.
And we don't even know if he's a starter yet or not.
I got you.
He's going to start.
He's going to start.
But I know he's going to do the battle with
I love you making the argument that
the guy they acquired. But yeah, no. So I mean, our 10's pretty much the same. It's just different orders. You know,
and guess what?
Mine's a smart one.
Go through these names: Hurts, Carter, DeJean, Smith, Barkley, Bond, Brown, Johnson, Mitchell, Mailata. They're all all-pro or Pro Bowl caliber players. So, the important guys are all guys that are pretty darn good. You should feel good about that, Eagles fans.
Damn right. Shout out to one of our YouTube listeners, Mopar. He's on vacation right now. I hope you're enjoying your vacation. Thanks for listening to the show. He's drinking Sambuca. I hate it.
I go back and forth.
I hate it. I felt so bad. A few years ago, I was doing the 7 Fishes with Ant.
Yeah.
And somebody got us around a Sambuca. And it was the first time I ever had it. It was horrible.
It's better than Rumplemints.
That's sure. That's fair. But Mopar, enjoy your Sambuca, man. Enjoy your vacation. Everybody's about to go on vacation. That's great. All right, coming up next, somebody did a deep dive. This is an interesting article that I read this morning. They did a deep dive on home field advantage in the NFL and whether or not it still exists the way we think it does. It's Kincade Salciunas, Connor, and for Johnny, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that means.
On Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. I'll get back to our text messages here momentarily, but I want to go through this article that I read this morning on Fox. Fox Sports from Greg Allman. It's a really interesting one because I know how people roll their eyes at like the summertime lists, like quarterback rankings and quarter century teams and all that kind of stuff. And every once in a while, it's cool to see a creative story where it's almost like journalism is still alive, right? And this guy, Greg, looked up home field advantage over the years in the NFL. And remember, we always talk about home field advantage and how great that is when you're playing big games. You want it to be at home, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Greg realized that recently, home field advantage, at least in the regular season, doesn't really exist as much as we would think it would.
Okay. We'll have to see how striking the numbers are.
So in 2024, this past regular season, just take a guess on the percentage of times the home teams won games over the course of the 272 games that are played in the regular season.
57%.
Gunner?
I was going to go 61.
All right. 53%.
Huh.
So barely more than half of the time teams won their home games last year. As Greg points out, that's a 9-8 record, which would not have been good enough to make the playoffs for multiple divisions and wild cards and all that kind of stuff. So based off of this percentage, if you played every game at home, you still wouldn't have made the playoffs. Now, again, there's context to everything. Like a team winning 2 games in a regular season, that means they probably lost a lot of them at home.
Right. And let's say those 2 games just happen to be road games.
Right. But teams win 14 games and they lose 2. Those 2 losses could have been at home, right? Like it could end up evening out. This is the 4th time in the last 6 years where the home team has won 53% of the time or less. So 4 in the last 6 years. In the previous 50 seasons, it had only happened 4 times. So 4 in the last 6, and the previous 50 years, it had only happened 4 times. So, you know, I'm thinking maybe somebody's driving right now. Well, there's always bad teams. There's always good teams. In 50 years, only 4 times, 53% or less times, the teams at home weren't winning. 4 in the last 6.
Yeah, so it's a newer trend that's not typical of when we look at the bigger sample size. So what do you think's contributing to that?
So he does it. This is why I love this story. There's actual journalism that's being done here. Obviously, first off, the playoffs, non-factor. Or home game, or it is a factor, home field advantage.
Yeah.
Last year, the home teams went 10-2, which is 83%. It's the highest rate in 50 years. It's now been 3 straight seasons where it's been 75% of the time the home team wins. So it does matter in the playoff.
Also, remember, home team in the playoffs, inherently the better football team.
Correct.
The home team in the regular season isn't always the better team.
Correct. That's true. Reasons. Salary cap and the parity of the league. You could be a 4th place team one year and then maybe not 1st place the next year, but 2nd place because of the way the salary cap works, the way that the draft works, all that kind of stuff. Free agency, it's so much different than it was in the pre-salary cap era of the NFL. So maybe the parity is a big reason why a team that is 4-10 is still a pretty good football team.
Right.
Because they might not be that far off from the team that's 7-7.
Yeah, I mean, it
right?
makes sense.
Parity. Yes. The other one. Now, this is a very, very small percentage. Home games, in quotes, could be played outside of your home field because of the international game.
Yeah, but that's not enough to affect it.
Well, exactly, 7 games. But it ultimately would play a factor in the W and the L. Like if all 7 home teams lost the games internationally,
yeah, then
that would add to the record.
It plays into it, but very minimally.
So those are the reasons. Now, he also points out that there are some teams that are much better at home than on the road. Like the Miami Dolphins since 2021 are 24-10 at home, but they're 13-21 on the road because they can't play in cold weather.
Which is just wild.
It is pretty funny because like Devontae Smith plays well in cold weather and he hates cold weather. The Cleveland Browns are the reverse. 20. Oh no, sorry, they're the same. 20-14 at home over the past 4 years, but 9-25 on the road.
Yeah, so just
like a really bad road team.
Get out there.
The Patriots, on the other hand, are the reverse, where they're actually better on the road than they are at home over the last couple of years. And then,
New
of
England,
course,
bad fan base.
Of course,
Trying to get away from them.
West Coast team traveling east, like that does play a factor, right?
Yeah.
If it's a 1:00 game and you're the Rams, because I think that's a case this year, right? Aren't the Eagles playing the Rams at 1:00 this year?
I think so.
So that means they're playing 10 a.m., the time that they are accustomed to. And that does play a factor in sports science, whether people want to believe it or not. It does play a factor. I mean, look, the records speak for themselves. So I just found it pretty interesting that over the last 6 seasons, home field advantage, like going, oh, man, we're at home this week, doesn't really matter that much. Now, this is league-wide. It's not specifically with the Eagles, not specifically with any team. It's league-wide.
Yeah, I don't know. There's all these contributing factors and potential reasons. It's undeniable that it's different than what it had been in the past or more pronounced. But I, for the life of me, can't come up with a logical reason why it would be. Like, it may just be a weird.
Well, some of it is the teams. But
Right.
then, like Denver, the Broncos are 8 games above 500 over the last couple seasons. They play in the altitude. That may play a part of it.
Denver hasn't risen in the past 8 years or whatever,
Right.
6 years. I'm pretty sure it's been mile high for a while now.
Now, the beauty is, out of all of this, the Eagles are 24-10 at home over the past 4 seasons. They are also 24-10 on the road.
I love this football.
Identical record home and away. Doesn't matter where they're playing.
Screw your study.
And 14 games above 500.
Yeah, like we appreciate you doing the work to put that together, but it does not affect the Eagles.
It doesn't
because
affect
nothing
the Eagles,
affects the Eagles.
and it doesn't affect the Chiefs, who are
using black magic to stay
27-7 at home, 25-9 on the road.
Yeah.
So if you're a good team, you're going to win regardless of where you're playing.
Exactly.
But again, that's why the parity comes into it. You might have 2 top teams and you might have 2 like really, really bad football teams, but everybody else in that mix, there's parity. I just found that interesting that, we always talk about how the 3-point swing in the line, the betting lines, right? Oh, they're at home, so they get like an automatic 3 points.
Would you say the NFL is more top-heavy, bottom-heavy, or fat in the middle?
I think fat in the middle.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'd probably go with you there as well.
Even though the Chiefs have been to the Super Bowl and like dynasties happen.
Right, but that's just like a couple of teams.
But like that doesn't mean like the Bills are an amazing football team.
Bills, Steelers,
the Ravens are a really good football team. It's just the Chiefs always win the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
But you could make the case that it's because it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and not necessarily the rest of the roster.
I feel like this is a pretty balanced spot for the league right now with just a couple of teams up at the top, and the Eagles happen to be one of those couple of teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. All right, coming up next, you can keep on sending your text messages. We'll get to them at 610-632-0975. But we'll reset today's topics. And in the 9 o'clock hour, the All-Star starters have been announced, Connor. I know you're thrilled about that.
How many Phillies?
We'll get into that. Also, you know what? I never texted Kevin Nagandi.
We'll find out coming up next if Kevin Nagandi's going to join us. It'll be a surprise for us and you.
Here's what we'll do. I'll text Kevin for like 9:10.
Okay.
So what I have planned for 9:10, I'll move up next. We'll have fun with this.
Okay.
Imagine having Jim Nance as a friend. And I'll just leave it at that.
Hello.
It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The story of 2 starting pitchers. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update, and it's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry, Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Terms apply. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday with the Padres. Game 1 got off to a rough start as Mick Abel was only able to get through 1 2/3 innings. He walked 5 batters, only gave up 2 hits, but he gave up 5 runs in those 1 2/3 innings. Phils ultimately lost that first game 6-4. Game 2, though, that was a different story. Christopher Sanchez got the start in that one, and he was dominant. Sanchez went 7 innings, struck out 5, only allowed 1 run on 5 hits. At the plate, Max Kepler became the 4th Philly of the season to hit double-digit home runs with his 2-run shot last night. The Phils are off today before for a 4th of July matchup tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds. Rumors have been swirling about a TJ Watt trade around the NFL, and some have linked him to the Birds. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, and he threw water on that idea.
The fact of the matter is, I think the Eagles are planning and budgeting to pay their own players. So there's so many contractual situations and commitments that you have that it makes it hard all of a sudden to go trade for a TJ Watt.
And don't look now, the Birds are just 19 days away from reporting to training camp on July 22nd. This update was also brought to you by Moyer. Summer's heating up. Call Moyer Indoor Outdoor for an expert pest control and lawn care. Moyer Trusted Service, year-round solutions. Visit eMoyer.com today. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
the Fanatic. All right, do you have the audio from Jim Nantz? Okay, so in 5 minutes at 9 o'clock, I'm going to play you something that I thought was freaking awesome on social media yesterday. And then for the final hour of the show, we'll have some fun with it where we try to get some good answers to give away the final $50 Wendy's gift card. Speaking of, we have 2 left. So, Connor, you give us the number.
2.
Caller 2 at 610-632-0975. Caller 2 will win our third of our 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards. Love my Wendy's breakfast sandwich. Today's, Wendy's breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose your perfect duo from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee at participating U.S. Wendy's. So caller 2, 610-632-0975. In the final hour, we'll have some fun to give away the 4th one. But real quick, before we get back to that, let's check some text messages. Also, one thing that we have not reacted to from yesterday's Phillies game. What the hell is Fernando Tatis Jr.'s problem sometimes?
Yo, I tweeted that out, and I was like, could you imagine this dude playing in this city?
Man,
He's like
walking down the first baseline on a great play by Trey Turner, but like walking down the first baseline, the Alec Boehm triple. That's not a triple.
No.
In like 30 other right fielders.
I kind of need him to play on the Phillies at some point. To just the social experiment that you would get from that player in this fan base would be incredible. But I don't understand it at all. Like, do people in San Diego not care? Like, does the team not care? I don't know. And who am I to speak for them? But
like, there's one thing about, like, you hit the ground ball to the second baseman and you're not busting it down the line, or you hit it sharply to the third base. And, like, I will still complain about it, right? Like, I did it with Harper. But
sure, but, like, that's what I talk about. It's just, like, there are guys out there doing that.
Like, that was yesterday. And in both games.
Yes.
In both games, he made questionable effort decisions.
Multiple questionable effort decisions.
Wild. All right, what do we got on the text line this morning, Gunner?
Yeah, earlier you opened up that question, have we ever got exhausted of somebody and then loved them again later on? Bobby answers, says, someone I grew exhausted of and then grew to love again was Nick Sirianni. Early in the season last year, I wanted him gone. Obviously, at the end of the season, I loved him.
Was it
That's a great one.
Was it exhaustion, or was it just we didn't like the guy?
I think it was exhaustion with, like, the Cleveland game.
Yeah, that was a big part of it.
Because they had started winning at that point, but it was just like, come on, dude, again. And now, happy
they
to
weren't
be here.
really winning yet at that. That was week 6, right? Because it was the bye. They were 2-2. The loss to the Bucks goes into the bye,
and then they beat the Giants.
Was it Giants first, or was it
Giants
Browns first?
It was Giants first, because I said the Giants wasn't enough to show it, right? I think.
Hold on, I don't believe that's true.
Was it Browns first?
I think the Browns were out of the bye week.
Yeah, maybe.
And then they beat up the Giants. Oh, let me get this. I was already wrong once earlier today. Yeah, it was the Browns. Browns out of the bye week.
Damn, we're back to even.
So like,
we need to argue about something
wasn't like
else.
It's not like they won like 4 straight.
You're right,
and that
Dan.
happened. It was they lost to the Bucks. They come out of the bye week, and Nick Sirianni felt comfortable barking at fans with his shaved head.
Damn, bro, I'm getting old. I can't even remember who they played last year.
Problem. All right, what else we got, Gunner?
We got somebody checking in saying, let me come on, stinky phone, glitching out. All right, here we go. Pat checking in saying,
What?
It kept glitching. Like, it wouldn't go. Here we go.
Your brain glitched, too.
Why on earth would anybody want a 33-year-old who's getting older every season and making $20 million? It makes zero sense why anybody would want Nick Castellanos.
That's not true.
Again, you might have to give up something to get something, and Nick Castellanos does still have abilities in 282, 10 home runs, playing a solid right field. $20 million is not breaking the bank, by the way.
Also, the Phillies are potentially eating part of that contract, which cuts down the amount you'd have to spend on him, and he's heading into the final year of his deal next year, which means you could offload him again in the offseason.
Correct.
So, not true that teams are not going to have interest.
Yeah. I ultimately don't think a trade happens, but to say that teams wouldn't have interest in him, I think is inaccurate. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio. powering possibilities. All right, so yesterday I'm scrolling through social media, and I saw a video that I thought was really, really freaking cool. So Joe Buck, who I love, I don't understand the hatred from Philadelphia sports fans. I really don't.
I like him too.
I love Joe Buck. I think he's one of the best that does it. And I miss him on baseball. I really do.
I agree.
So Joe Buck was golfing with his two sons. They needed a fourth. So why not call your buddy Jim Nance? Take a listen to this video. Joe Buck takes you to the golf course, and listen to Nance at one point during it.
Well, here we are at number 8 at El Dorado. Beautiful day. A foursome coming off 3 pars and a short par 3. And now Blake Buck and J-Mo are going to tee it up. And me, a goat, playing with the goat.
Hello, friends. What a day at El Dorado. Wish you were here. We've got 2 hotshot golfers, and now on the tee is Blakey Buck at even par through 7 holes.
God, it just sounds right. Just sounds good.
So Blakey Buck one day will realize how freaking cool it was that Jim Nance just announced him walking up to the tee box.
I'd set up, because I wake up with the Amazon Alexa alarm in the mornings.
Okay.
I would set that up as my alarm in the morning. It's
Waking
just Jim
up.
Nance saying, now on the tee.
Or waking up now.
Connor Thomas.
Not heading to the shower, but heading to wear.
He showered last night.
Heading to
promises he doesn't stink.
Heading to rewear the clothes that he wore yesterday. Connor
do
Thomas.
this all day.
So I'm curious. If you could have somebody in your life like announce something for you, and it doesn't have to be your daily life. It could be you're walking up to the tee box and you have Jim Nance announcing you walking up to the tee box. Is there a guy that comes to your mind, or is there something specific that you would want? Because that is one of the coolest things that I think I ever heard.
Yeah, that's sick. We're going to play the no Morgan Freeman rule on this one. Okay?
Okay.
Because everybody always say, I'd love to have Morgan Freeman narrate my life.
Narrate my life.
Yeah, wow, that's original. I've never heard that before. Great point there. I would love to have Kevin Harlan for anything. He makes everything interesting, everything fun.
Yeah, but you like cooking, or like you, because we still play sports. Like we play pickup basketball.
Sure.
Like imagine Mike, if you hit a 3 and Mike Breen screams bang when
No.
you're like
No.
at your pickup basketball
I wouldn't like
game.
it because I don't deserve that. Okay. That sullies the gravity of what a proper bang should be.
All right, well, does Joe Buck's kid deserve Jim Nance announcing him to the tee box? Probably not. Live a little.
No, but like Jim Nance is understated, so he could do it for anybody.
Oh.
Yeah, it fits a little bit better that way. No, I would like Kevin Harlan to be talking about maybe just like my day-to-day life.
Dude, I just want Matt Cord every time I make a coffee. And Brennan Gum makes the coffee. Like everything
You
I
want
do.
the reverb and everything, the echo?
So there was one day where when I was first starting here, it was probably like a year or 2 in, and Tom McGinnis was here to record some stuff, and he goes, "What's your name?" I was like, "My name's Andrew. Yeah, how tall are you? 6 feet. Where do you go to school? Temple." And he did a 6 feet. That's a 6 foot guard, and he did like his in-game announcement as if it was me, and I was like, wow, that was awesome. Like,
Pretty sick.
Like, and it was out of nowhere. Like, he just, like, saw me in the hallway as if I was, like, a 5-year-old kid. Like, hey, kiddo. But it was, like, he just did it. And,
Did
like,
you ever have
that
your
was
name
really
announced
cool.
for a sporting event before?
Yes.
Yeah.
But, like, not by, like Dan
what?
Baker.
Did you get that in high school?
I played in, like, tournaments, and I played in, like,
I feel like I only ever got it in college.
I played at the River Shark Stadium before it got blown up.
That's pretty dope.
We had announcers for
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
Be good. How about you?
Have I played somewhere with announcers?
Yeah, somewhere where they like announced your name going up to the plate or starting 5 or something.
Not more than like high school, no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, not more than high school.
I don't know. I figured most high schools didn't do that. I can't remember. I remember like one high school that we ever played against.
That did it. Maybe
And they only did it for their
maybe it
home
was
team.
Clearview Regional High School, man.
It was not.
But I want to get some answers on this. And it doesn't have to be like your life. It could be like, imagine walking up to bat in our Sunday league, and Dan Baker announces your name as you're walking up to bat. Like,
I'd be getting struck out before the announcement's done. But
no, like that'd be.
I want the union guy, Dave Leno, just screaming every time I make a bucket.
Hell yeah.
That's screaming all right.
Shout out Dave Leno.
Maybe I want Ray Dunn to announce my life.
I hear too much of Ray Dunn as
the
is.
dupes.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Cue the dupes. I forgot about cue the dupes.
Cue the poops. You know, I'm about to go to the bathroom or something. Ray
Judas is going to sleep. Cue the cube, and he starts crying all night.
Exactly. So if you could think of something, and it could be your everyday life. Like, a lot of people golf at a very low level. You know me. But, like, if Jim Nantz announced me walking up to the tee box, I think I'd pee myself.
That'd be dope. That'd be pretty damn cool.
Really cool. So give us some answers
some
on
more
that.
on this.
We have one more $50 Wendy's gift card to give away. So we'll give one away to the best answer at 610-632-0975. Our man Kevin Nagandi is out west for work right now, so he is unavailable. I hope I did not wake him up.
Yeah, at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Probably.
We'll check our text line coming up next. I want some answers on this. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn, Mike Missanelli.
Mike Missanelli, assistant GM, the 7th.
So the other day, I was doing I told you I spoke to high school and college kids that are interested in getting into the business and stuff. And there was just one kid I felt so bad for, dude. He must have had some sort of...
He was just like you?
He must have had some sort of illness because he was like shaking.
Oh, yeah?
Like he had the... Like I could tell. Like he's sniffling, he had the chills. So now for the last 3 days, I've been doing the emergency.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Because I'm just like, I don't want that, man. I'm about to be off next week. I'm not trying to spend it being sick.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That's what I figured. Because you were just like, come on, emergency. Well, listen, I'm not trying to get sick.
Sorry, I'm a horse, man. I don't get sick over here.
I don't believe that that's true.
Every once in a while, I'll eat something that I shouldn't be eating, and I'll get like food poisoning. But other than that, I'm good. My stuff is self-inflicted.
Yes, it is. Real quick, so Go Sixers on our YouTube chat says these guys are marking out over Nance. Do people not like Jim Nance?
I thought that was like universally beloved.
Like if Jim Nance announced me walking up to a tee box, I would literally tinkle. Like, that's freaking awesome.
I don't think I'd do that, but I'd be excited about it.
Yeah, it's dogs. It's dogs do when they get excited. Like,
what are you, a dog now?
I didn't realize that there are people that aren't like Nance fans.
If I've realized anything in this line of work,
that somebody always finds a way
somebody hates everybody.
Yeah. I missed him dearly in the tournament this year because this was the first year that he didn't. Was this the first year? Or was it second year they didn't do the tournament?
Which one?
NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah.
He watched as a fan.
I think of golf, so I didn't even think about the tournament.
You go golf first.
Absolutely.
Well, the hello friends and in that tone, golf.
Yes.
You go golf first. I go NCAA tournament, then football, and then golf.
Golf immediately for me.
See, the only reason golf is not immediately is because it's the multiple people are on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Like Uncle Vern, when he used to do it, let's go to Vern at 16. Like,
yeah, right?
Like, there's
I don't know, but I'm a bigger golf guy than you guys are,
true.
So maybe.
No, but I know, like, doesn't Nance have, like, whatever hole at Augusta in his backyard?
Yeah, I forget what number it is.
I forget which one. But, like, it's like, that's freaking awesome. So I do think of Nance in golf, but I think of NCAA tournament first, and then I go football second. And the only reason why football's second now is because it dropped because of Romo. Romo ruins it for me.
Ooh, I don't know, Jim.
Romo ruins it for me. And no, it's not the former Cowboy thing.
Somebody checked in saying they want Romo to be the announcer for him.
I think I'd just sleep every day.
When he's about to go
I like Romo.
Somebody checked in saying when they go talk to a woman, they want Tony Romo in the background going, uh-oh, Jim, he's going for it. He's going for it, Jim. It's terrible.
I don't want that.
Nance and Romo doing a replay review of my life would be kind of cool.
No, I don't want that at all because Romo's just going to him and haw the entire time.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
All right, let's go to Mustafa in Delco. What's up, Mustafa?
Hey, what's going on, man? How y'all guys feeling?
Well, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Just join this road. I'm a trucker, so I'm just coming from Maine, going back home to PA.
Drive safely, man. What do you drive around? What do you deliver?
Paper.
Paper. All right.
Yeah, like big rolls of paper.
All right.
Hey, that's important.
That's important. I use paper every single day, Mustafa.
We all do.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's very important. I was on talk about the announcer.
Yes.
This about I forgot when it was, but this was way before he had passed. But I used to work in the $2 Plaza in the deli, and Harry Collis came down to the deli.
Okay.
And I'm looking at my friends like, yo, that's Harry Collis, and I'm like, they looking at me all like sideways, like I had 3 heads, like they didn't know who Harry Collis was. I'm like, all right, we're gonna talk about that later. Yeah, they didn't know who he was.
God.
I was like, we're gonna talk about this later. When we get off work, we talk about this later. So I took my time. I went around there and spoke to him, and I asked him, can he do a scenario for me? So he took time out of his important day. He sat there and watched me set up my voicemail, and he asked me my name. He asked my friends' names. He was like, "All right." As soon as I hit the play button, he was like, "You think that we was actually professional players?" So he went up there. He was like, "Oh, we the bottom of the ninth. The Phillies down by 2. We got Mustafa up the bat, 3-2 pitch. We got Q at second and Will at first. Here's 0 on the pitch. Here goes the pitch. It's up in the box. He goes for it. He swings. It's about to go. It's out of here. Home. He did
that's
the whole
awesome.
thing.
Mustafa, did he call you the
God,
man?
I was on. Yeah, yo, my guy. I was in cloud
Mustafa
nine.
from Delco,
And
you
it's-
are the man.
Yo, it was amazing, and like it was unfortunate that I had to change phones.
Yeah, I know. When we lose that stuff, that's horrible. But you always be able to remember that, Mustafa. Thanks for the call, man. Well,
Yeah,
thanks, man. I appreciate it. I don't know how to put people on hold on this. You know how to put people on hold on this?
Yeah, you just hit the line 3 thing again.
Oh, okay. My bad. Well, Mustafa, call back. We'll put you in the running for the final $50 Wendy's gift card. If you're still listening, it's my bad. I never put somebody on hold.
Okay.
On this new phone.
It's okay. You can just ask.
But that'd be
you.
like that. Imagine like having Harry Callis. Like,
that'd be sick.
Do something for you like that. Like that's
Yeah, like
again. I
Dan
told you
Baker.
I had Tom McGinnis. I didn't even ask him. He just did.
Would you go local guy over national guy?
Harry, yes.
Okay.
Harry, yes. You know, rest in peace, because it's Harry, man. That's the voice of my summer.
No, I feel
for
you.
many
I feel
years.
like a lot of people in Philly would go local over national. We're a very parochial town.
We also hate national people for the most part.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't like Joe Buck.
Yeah, we get in our feelings. I would love Joe Buck to announce my life. That'd be great. By the way, Andy, come on, man. Andy, that was the worst Harry Callis impression ever. He wasn't trying to do it, the impression. He was just telling you the story. God, just some people are just always nasty. Always. All right, what do we got on the text line, Gunner?
All right, we got a bunch of people checking in on this one. Obviously, most of them are saying Harry Callis, but we also got Walt from Middlebrook checking in saying Dan Baker.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're getting it now, imagine you're playing your Sunday league. Like, that'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And Dan Baker announces you coming up, or just anything. Doesn't even have to be your Sunday league game. It could just be you're walking into work.
Also got Mike and Sterling checking in saying having the Inside the NBA crew commentary in my life would
Hell
be
yeah.
incredible. If I had to pick one, it would be Chuck.
Dude, could you imagine a daily... We all do something stupid every day, right?
Some of us more than others.
We all average at least one stupid thing a day. Could you imagine Shaqtin' a Fool at the end of every single day?
Oh, that'd be sick.
Shaq does a Shaqtin' a Fool with the dumbest thing you did each day.
Shaq and Kenny race to the board to try and break down how I ate like a day-old sandwich.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, man.
That's fantastic. What else we got?
We got somebody checking in saying they love to have Vern Lundquist do it. Do you, just obviously, as you talked about the Masters or
Uncle Vern,
CBS and all that.
Uncle Vern. The only problem is I'm never going to hit a good enough shot for me to get the real Vern.
In your life.
Yeah,
I've
like
never seen
I would never hit a good enough shot for Vern to actually do something like that. That Tiger call is still one of my favorite individual calls ever.
One of the greats.
Absolutely. All right, coming up next, we'll get more on this because we have the final $50 Wendy's gift card to give away for one of the best answers. Also, the All-Star starters in Major League Baseball have been announced. Is there a chance the Phillies can have at least one? We'll discuss that next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
An up and down doubleheader for the Phils. I'm Brendan Gunn with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies split their doubleheader yesterday against the Pirates. Game 1 got off to a rough start as Mick Abel was only able to get out of 1 2/3 innings. He walked 5 batters, only gave up 2 hits, but he gave up 5 runs. The Phils ultimately lost that first game 6-4. Game 2, though, that was a completely different story. Christopher Sanchez got the start in that one, and he was dominant. Sanchez went 7 innings. He struck out 5, only allowed 1 run on 5 hits. At the plate, Max Kepler became the 4th Philly of the season to hit double-digit home runs with his 2-run shot last night. The Phils are off today before a 4th of July matchup tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds. Jesus Luzardo's on the mound in that one. First pitch is tomorrow afternoon at 1:05. Rumors have been swirling about a TJ Watt trade around the NFL, and some have linked him to the Eagles. Adam Schefter joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, and he threw water on that idea.
The fact of the matter is I think the Eagles are planning and budgeting to pay their own players. So there's so many contractual situations and commitments that you have that it makes it hard all of a sudden to go trade for a TJ Watt.
And don't look now, we're 19 days away from the Birds reporting to training camp on July 22nd. This update was brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has $1 soft drinks, any size, all breakfast long. Coke, Sprite, Strawberry Fanta, whatever you want. Any size soft drink for $1, it's got to be Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Terms apply. I'm Brendan Gunn on the home of the Sixers, home of the Flyers, and home of the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. A couple of other answers here on the YouTube chat. JM said, obviously rest in peace, but Bob Uecker. He would use Bob Uecker to do something for his life. Now, Bob Uecker, did you guys, after he passed away, did you, hear any of the stories?
Yeah, man. He was awesome.
About how he was, one of the more filthier people.
Yeah, 100%. You could tell from
potty mouth people.
You could tell from Major League. He wasn't playing a part. He was just being Bob Uecker.
I probably don't want him to announce my life. I probably just want to hang out with him.
Yeah, he'd be a good hang.
And just see what he had to say. Just be like, all right, go ahead, tee him up. I love a good tee-up person.
Yeah.
You could tee him up and they could just
let him roll.
I was thinking of my man Harry Mays yesterday. Just randomly popped up in my brain yesterday. He's a teed up guy. I could just tee up Harry Mays and just
let him run.
Just let him go. All right, so the MLB All-Star starters have been announced. And no, there have been no Phillies in the starting lineups. But there still could be a chance, which we will get to. Your American League starters, no surprise at catcher Cal Raleigh, who
big dumper,
I believe hit another home run since this segment started. He's at 33 home runs already.
I love that guy.
Unbelievable, man. Vlad Jr. is the starting first baseman. Thank God, because it was between him and Paul Goldschmidt, and that was the Yankee fan vote.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be.
When we get to the National League, there were 7 Dodgers that were the finalists. When there's 2 guys left, I think only 3 of them eventually got named the starters. Deservedly so for Vlad Jr. Maybe not as big of a season as we've seen before, but better than Paul Goldschmidt. Gleyber Torres, the second baseman from the Tigers. Jacob Wilson, so an A. Yeah, the starting nod over
too.
Bobby Witt Jr.
He deserves it.
He does deserve it. No, he's great. 339 his batting average is, just second behind Aaron Judge, because Aaron Judge is a freak. So he's the starting shortstop. Jose Ramirez, one of my favorite players. He's third base for the Guardians. And Ryan O'Hearn is the designated hitter for the American League.
Shout out the Orioles. We're getting somebody.
Yeah, they got somebody.
Yeah.
Outfield, no surprise. Aaron Judge, your starting right fielder. Riley Green of the Tigers. And Javi Baez. I'm so happy for that guy. He was so much fun to watch with the Cubs. And then he just sucked.
Yeah, and he's having a resurgent year.
He forgot how to play baseball for 3 years.
Yeah. Well, he remembered this year.
But because they gave him that contract, they had to just keep playing him, and all of a sudden now he's turned things around.
Turns out things can change,
and he's your starting left fielder, I guess, for the American League, or center field, because I know he's played center field at times this year as well. National League, Will Smith, the catcher from the Dodgers. First base, Freddie Freeman from the Dodgers. Pete Alonso's had a hell of a season, man.
Yeah, kind of surprised it's not him, but the Dodgers.
Freddie Freeman's hitting 308, but
only 10 bombs, though.
Yeah, I know. Pete Alonso probably deserved it, and it pains me to say it because I hate the Mets. And I still can't believe the Phillies didn't get Pete Alonso. Right-handed.
Well, now Pete can get his curls in down in the batting cage.
Is he doing the home run derby?
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know Cal Raleigh is.
Ketel Marte, your second baseman from the D-backs. Francisco Lindor, the starting shortstop. Definitely should have gotten it over Mookie Betts. I still am surprised that Mookie Betts got more votes than Trey Turner, but what do you know? Dodgers. Manny Machado, the starting third baseman. Again, deservedly so. Max Muncy has not been having a good enough season to be the starting third baseman. He is a Dodger who got votes.
Bohm came on way too late.
Yeah, definitely. Ohtani, no surprise, the DH. Your outfield, Ronald Acuna Jr., Pete Crow Armstrong, and Kyle Tucker. So the Phillies do not have a position player that will be a starter. Last year, how many starters were there?
There were 3.
Was it Turner, Bowman, Harper?
Yes, those were.
They were all the starters last year? Yeah.
Yep.
So from 3 last year to 0 this year, they did not even have any of the runner-ups because none of the Phillies were voted as the top 2 finalists. Now, let me ask you this question. Because I said, could there be a chance? Is it Paul Skeens and nobody else? Or does Zach Wheeler at least make a case from now until the All-Star?
In a proper world where justice is served, Zach Wheeler should be starting the All-Star game this year. In Atlanta.
Not yet.
No, he should be. Because do you remember who started the All-Star game for the National League last year?
Paul Skeens.
After, what, 4 starts?
No, he had made more than 4 starts,
Dude,
I think,
check
right?
it. Because he had just come up.
Okay.
Like, they threw him in there based on entertainment value and upside alone.
All right, but he's having a better season than Zach Wheeler right now.
I understand.
So, like, why in a proper world is Zach Wheeler the star?
Because last year they showed you we're willing to bend the rules to get the guy we want out there.
But how's that a proper world?
Well, that's what if it's fair based on last year, then it should be fair based on this year for me to make an argument on Zach Wheeler. Because he hasn't. He's been snubbed for Cy Young once, if not twice, depending on what you believe. I think Chris Sale deserved it last year, and I don't think Paul Skeens was.
By the way,
he was good
he
enough.
had made 11 starts at that point.
4-11, same thing.
He was 6-0 with a 1.90 ERA.
He stinks. Give it to Wheeler.
And had 11 strikeouts,
Okay.
8-9, 8-7, 8-8-9, 11-7. He had 1 strikeout game where he only had 3.
All right.
Don't let facts get in the way.
Yeah, maybe unfair
He was
there.
deserving of the All-Star game
I thought
starter
he had
last
come up much more recently than that. Then that's on me. Strike
Okay.
that from the record. I do still think it's going to be Paul Skeens.
But I just wonder if there's any chance. So right now, if you look at the ERA leaders in Major League Baseball, it's crazy. Hunter Brown from the Astros, who the Phillies just faced, is number 1. Paul Skeens is number 2. Hunter Brown, the only sub-2 ERA, 1.82. Paul Skeens at 2.03. Then it's Max Fried, American League with the Yankees. Jacob deGrom, American League with the Rangers. Tariq Skubal, American League with the Tigers. Chris Bubich with the Royals, American League. And then Zach Wheeler. So 5 of the top 7 ERA pitchers are American League pitchers. 6 of the top 8 are American League pitchers. So really, it's a 2-horse race for the National League starter between Paul Skeens and Zach Wheeler. Now, Skeens, his ERA is ridiculous, 2.03, but Wheeler's just 2.27. I think, and then strikeouts, Wheeler has 136 strikeouts. Paul Skeens has 115. Whip, Wheeler's is actually less at .91 to Skeens' .92, so very, very close. Skeens has made 1 more start than Wheeler so far this year, but 1 more start and less strikeouts.
Yeah, so there's a case to be made based on actual numbers.
Yeah, like I think it's going to be Skeens, but like I don't think it's a pencil in Skeens and call it a day. Like I think Zach Wheeler could make a legitimate still push to try to be the All-Star game starting pitcher.
Yeah, but he's going to have to earn it because I do look at Skeens as like this, and deservingly so. He's a great pitcher. Like I love watching him throw, but he's MLB golden boy right now. So they're going to do everything they can.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be. He will be the starter. He will be. Skeens. Like I fully expect him to be.
But Wheeler will be there. Suarez will be there.
Did they get 3?
Sanchez will be there. Luzardo is kind of on the edge.
I don't think he'll be there. I think somebody will just look at the numbers and not.
That's the issue, right? Yeah. But if you look deeper than the numbers and you just look at, he had 2 starts where I can justify he was tipping his pitches, does the quality of pitcher that he's been this year deserve to get him there, even if the numbers say no?
Maybe. You also got to understand there's got to be a person from every single team.
I got you.
Right? So there's, 3 Dodgers already take up, 9 of the starters, right? So
the Rockies will get 1 reliever.
And all these Dodgers that weren't named starters will all be on the team. I think that's how it works. Like Tommy Edman, Mookie Betts, Max Muncy, all the guys that weren't named starters, Teoscar Hernandez, they'll all be, and Andy Pages, my God, they'll all be on the All-Star.
Pius,
sorry. They'll all be on the All-Star team. I don't know. Like, I think Schwarber makes it.
Yes.
He has to.
Yeah, got to.
But
Schwarber, Turner, Wheeler, Sanchez, Suarez, I think they get 5.
Okay. Nobody from the bullpen?
Let me think.
No.
Yeah,
I don't think Luzardo makes it.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying that there could be a case made if it's like manager decision, right? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, Joseph Brennan says the Phillies will not send 3 pitchers. I mean, there's a legitimate chance that they don't.
What do you mean? They did last year, didn't they?
Right, but
one was replacement, I think.
Right, but still, guys went.
How many pitchers usually make? Is it 13 arms? Like, is it the way they do? It's 25-man roster, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So 13 arms. You got to have bullpen guys, right? Like, that's going to happen. Like, they're going to have closers.
But there's only like 4 or 5.
All right, so then that narrows it down to 10 pitchers.
Then there are like 8 starters.
If we're going strictly off of ERA, just strictly ERA, Skeens and Wheeler are your top 2 in the National League. Can I change this to National League? Yes, I can.
Probably.
Wonderful.
Look at that.
Yamamoto from the Dodgers is 3rd. Sale is hurt, so I guess he's not going to be in it. Logan Webb, Matthew Boyd, Christopher Sanchez is on this. Robbie Ray, Freddie Peralta, Clay Holmes. I'm trying to see when I get to Ranger.
Ranger may not be qualified.
Right, because he missed time at the beginning of the year.
So he's probably not on there.
All right, yeah, but I think he deserves to be in it, obviously.
Yeah.
Ranger Suarez.
Ranger deserves it more than Sanchez does.
Yeah. There's 10 starting pitchers in the National League with a sub-3 ERA that are qualified. But and one of them is Chris Sale, so he's probably not going to pitch in it.
Yeah, and Rangers had what, 2? Even?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's 2 even.
So they might legitimately send 3 pitchers to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
There's a chance. Brennan says 10 arms. Joseph Brennan says 10 arms.
Okay.
So they do the fit because they cycle in the players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It might be tough.
It'll be 4 or 5.
See. They'll definitely send 2. We know for a fact they'll send 2. The question is, do they end up sending 3? All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line again. We got to get a winner for our final $50 Wendy's gift card. We got the key 3 coming up as well. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Connor in for Johnny today. My last day until I go on vacation here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia Union Soccer.
by the Fanatic. I have an update for you.
On what?
Red Panda.
Oh, yeah.
We have a red
okay?
We have a Red Panda update. She unfortunately broke her wrist falling from her unicycle during the halftime show with the Lynx.
Between the Lynx
in the Commissioner's Cup.
Yes.
It's their in-season tournament, just like the NBA has. But she will be ready for next season for the NBA. Now, here's the deal.
Dog.
If I'm the Sixers, I get into a bidding war right now, and I make sure I'm the first team that she performs the halftime show.
Yeah, that's an auto sellout.
Because that, no, it's not that. You get the buzz right away.
That's what I'm saying.
Red Panda's back.
Exactly.
Oh, I think meant sellout crowd. Like you get the. I don't think many people are buying tickets for Red Panda.
I strongly disagree. I think the first return of Red Panda will get people in the building. Sellout might have been a little far.
Dude. No,
what? Are you a fake Red Panda fan?
I'm a big Red Panda fan.
Doesn't sound like it.
But let me ask something. This is a legitimate question. Do you ever know going in, unless they try to make a big deal of it, what the halftime show is at a Sixers game?
No.
I knew it was Roscoe Dash on Knockout Night last year.
Because it was also promoted. ROSCOE, Mr. Shawty put it on me. Please, come on, man. Like I'm all Roscoe dashed up. But but we knew about it because we were also promoting it, right?
Right. Yeah. If it had just been a random game, no, I never know. But
like
that's
the
beautiful
thing. The dunking dog. Like I never know that that's happening.
Yeah.
The guy that we talked about, the Sladek, the guy that stands up on the chairs. I don't know when he's there. I think whenever Red Panda's been there, I've never known about it until I saw Red Panda.
No, but that's the beautiful thing. It's like a lottery ticket. You never know. Maybe it's a nothing, or maybe it's Red Panda, and you just hit for $1,000 on a $5 scratch
going to
off.
sell out.
Dude, well, that one you promote because then you
promote it because it's that big.
Like, yo, we got Red Panda. She's coming back.
Speaking of Panda,
put the word out.
Speaking of Panda,
what do you guys and halftime shows? You remember the song Panda?
Yeah, by Designer.
By Designer. Do you? I don't know how many people even know this. I was just at the game. He performed the halftime show.
Oh, really?
At the Sixers.
Does he have other songs, or did he just do Panda for 15 minutes?
He has other songs, but he got booed. It was horrible, and he started like undressing himself. It was one of the weirdest things. It was at the Sixers game.
I'm not
shocked
shocked
how many years ago it was.
that song doesn't transfer to live performance.
He got booed. That was the Sixers don't miss often, other than the roster. The Sixers don't miss often with everything else that's going on. Like they do, the in-game experience at the Wells Fargo Center and the halftime shows and all that kind of stuff is great. That one didn't go well. He literally got booed off the stage.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not as bad as what was the guy with the Bucks?
Ja Rule, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened
He
with
just
Ja Rule?
puts his mic down and
was
waves.
so
Dude, it was terrible.
Well, and it was right after the Fire Festival debacle.
Oh, yeah.
He was
that makes
supposed to be a
sense.
big part of it, and then it just completely fell through. And he was like, Milwaukee! And like everyone was just like,
yeah, that's how it went. He's like, all right. And he just put the mic down and left.
Yo, great call by him. Hitting the eject button early is a great move in life. Like when you know something's going to go poorly, get the hell out of there.
It's awesome, man. It's fantastic. All right, what do we got in the text line, Gunner?
We got somebody checking in saying while Castellanos may bring in a little improvement at the deadline, the bigger win, honestly, would be the trade Ranger.
That would get you probably more than what Nick Castellanos would get you. But the question is, do you want to do it? You're very adamant about not doing it.
Nope.
Yeah. Because
Not
look,
happening.
here's the deal. I at one point was open to the idea. He is my game 2 starter right now.
Yeah, I've never been open to the idea.
Well, when we did not know if his role was going to be starter or reliever, because that was a legitimate question when he first came back. Because this is when Luzardo was pitching out of his mind. Who else? Christopher Sanchez was pitching out of his mind.
Yeah, Taijuan Walker had been solid.
Yeah, but nobody was putting Walker in the playoff rotation.
And Nola hadn't imploded yet. He hadn't been good, but he hadn't imploded.
but I think he's a guy where you're just going to give him the ball.
Well, skipping ahead to game 2, I mean, we just talked about 4 playoff all-star starters. 3 of them are lefties. Does Topper do that, though? 1 righty and then 3 lefties in a row?
I think it depends on what the team is that you're facing.
And also, have those guys struggled against righties?
No, they haven't. No,
they've dominated everybody.
But like let's say you're playing a team where their splits are they mash left-handed pitching, right? you still have to throw one of them, but maybe one of those guys is in the bullpen or maybe isn't on the DS roster, but is on the CS roster.
Okay.
Because you can't do that.
So let me ask you right now. Take your pick. Jesus Luzardo, we'll just go Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez. Those two guys.
Ranger Suarez right now.
No. Not between those two. And you face a team that mashes lefties. And your other option is Aaron Nola. Who are you starting? Because I'm starting those guys without a second
right now,
thought.
those two guys. I got to see Nola when he comes back.
Yes, obviously this changes. But my point is, like right now, lefty, righty, don't care who you're playing. Those guys are starting in a postseason series for me.
Nola is throwing this week, right? The short, not full distance.
Touch and feel session?
I saw Colin Newby, our man Colin Newby, quote Topper yesterday. What they're calling it, like a Williamsport or whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to be real with you. I have zero room in my brain right now for what in the world's going on with Aaron Nola.
I just know he's planning on throwing this week. Not throwing 60 feet, 6 inches, but he's planning on throwing this week. All right, what else we got on the text line?
All right, we got a bunch of people checking in on that conversation about who they would love to broadcast their life. We got somebody checking in saying, you guys may be too young to remember, but I would love Dave Zinkoff, the old Sixers announcer. I assume we all know.
Yeah, I know who Dave Zinkoff is. I actually got a tweet from John on the lane saying that I have the perfect Zinkoff name with the Salciunas because he could do the ooh for a long time.
Yeah.
I got a
You
great,
do have a good name.
I have a great announcing name.
I do not.
Just not the ability to have ever received the great announcing.
Yeah.
I kind of need Mike Breen to go, and gun goes bang.
What's that?
It sounded like Mike Breen, didn't it?
That sounded like a bad Godfather impression.
Bang.
Dude, what was that?
Mike Breen.
Sounded more like Marlon Brando than Mike Breen.
You really went in for it, too.
I'm probably getting
I respect it. I respect
That
it.
didn't sound like Mike Breen at all?
No.
God, you can tell tomorrow's a holiday because we are just.
No, it's time now.
unhinged in
It's
here.
time now for the key three. 3 best minutes from today's show. I don't think that made it.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
We know all about the Phillies-Padres playoff history, and it could continue this year. So that's a good series, and they continue to pile up wins. And right now, that's what matters, especially when you're looking around what's going on in the NL East. The Braves had some really rough news yesterday. The Mets continue to spiral out of control. Wins matter. I don't care if it's May, June, July. Wins matter, and the more you can pile up, the better standing you'll be come October. When you hear Nick Castellanos could be moved this year, this month, what's your reaction to it?
That would be really stupid for the Philadelphia Phillies. That'd be just flat out dumb.
Flat out dumb?
Yes, flat out dumb. If they make that move, that is stupid. I mean, Nick Castellanos is not Bryce Harper. He's not Kyle Schwarber, okay? He's not one of these premier players in baseball that the Phillies have on the roster. But he's a really good baseball player. And he's a really important part of this lineup. And all season long, all I've been hearing is right-handed outfield bat. So you're going to take the best right-handed outfield bat on this team and trade him?
Here's the quote. I have the exact quote from Jim Bowden. The Castellanos rumors just never go away. And for that reason alone, multiple GMs think there's a chance that he could get moved if Philadelphia can find a better right field option. Now, you don't believe that there are better right field options out there. Now, again, there could be a player that pops up out of nowhere. I don't remember talking about Austin Hayes last year.
Yeah, that's
You
fair.
know what I mean? Like, there could be something that pops up because they could get creative, which is what I keep on saying. Like, what if Bryce Harper is your better right fielder and you acquire somebody to play left field and then you acquire somebody to play one of your corner infield spots?
Then you've given up too much to help the bullpen as much as you need. And that's a bad strategy at the deadline.
If you want to hear groupie talk, the Phillies are winning the World Series. But here's the deal. I don't believe that. The Phillies need to make additions before the trade deadline. I've hated the way this line's been constructed since spring training, and I think there is a way for them to improve it, and I expect Dave Dombrowski to improve it, and if he doesn't, then August 1st, there will be fireworks on this show. And remember, we always talk about home field advantage and how great that is when you're playing big games. You want it to be at home, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Home field advantage, at least in the regular season, doesn't really exist as much as we would think it would.
We'll have to see how striking the numbers are.
So in 2024, this past regular season, Just take a guess on the percentage of times the home teams won games over the course of the 272 games that are played in the regular season.
57%.
Gunner?
I was going to go 61.
All right. 53%.
Huh.
So barely more than half of the time teams won their home games last year. As Greg points out, that's a 9-8 record, which would not have been good enough to make the playoffs for multiple divisions and wild cards and all that kind of stuff. I would be very curious to hear what kind of package Nick Castellanos is getting you, because Nick Castellanos you would still have him next season. It's not like a team's trading for a rental or acquiring a rental. All right, that was the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show. So I got another ESPN shift today, noon to 3. So if you're watching Ray Dunn, who's filling in for Mike Missanelli today on the midday show, you will see me behind Ray.
Back there behind the glass.
Because when we have the overhead view, the camera that I throw the paper at during the Key 3, you could see right there into 4Q. So I better not be doing something stupid.
As opposed to what we just did for the last 4 hours?
Yeah.
I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
That's par for the course out here for you, buddy.
All right, so Gunner, you're going down the shore this weekend.
Yes, after tomorrow's show.
Now that you are engaged, it's a much less stressful trip down the shore. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, I'm just hanging out down there. Don't have to go down the shore with the ring in my back pocket. I'm just there ready to party.
Yeah, so you should be able to enjoy yourself. And so you're going down for one day?
Not even a full day. I'm going to go down for like a couple hours. What else am I going to do?
So I'm blessed, right? Like my parents live down the shore full time. I used to love doing the day trip. I don't do it anymore. Do you still get excited for a day trip?
I mean, I guess.
I'm just trying to think. Like as a kid, you're just excited to go on the sand, but like as the adult, you're driving.
Well,
you're in the traffic.
If I had a free weekend, I would go and stay at my sister-in-law's place in North Wildwood. But I've got your party on Saturday and another party on Saturday, and then I have a golf round back here Sunday. So I just figured I'd take it a little bit easy.
Okay.
I have a big vacation end of the month, so I didn't want to do a full weekend down.
No, it's fair. I was just like, the day, it's just so funny, like with how it changes with age, too. Like, I didn't mind driving back sandy.
Right.
Now I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be sandy anymore.
Yeah, but think about like what your life was like 10 years ago, and then 15 years ago, and then 20 years ago. And that's all where I'm at right now. I've just never aged out. I'm Peter Pan over here, all right? So I could be sandy. I don't care. It don't matter.
Stealing kids?
Peter Pan did not steal kids.
Yeah, you want to ever read the original story?
No.
Exactly.
Not a great reader. Travis Kelce.
The original story is not the Disney.
Okay, I only saw the movie, dude.
Just saying.
Don't have to get dark with this.
It's okay to learn history every once in a while.
Said I don't grow up.
It was kind of weird.
Learn history.
Hanging out with the kids.
No, slow down. Learn history. It's Peter Pan. That's not history.
By the way, that's Hook. Get it right. Totally different.
Same thing.
It's a good thing we talk sports for a living because we're not good at this other stuff.
All right, tell us about life-saving cancer research, please, Con.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to help us out and help everybody out. And remember to support life-saving cancer research. Join me and our generous partners, FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning, in making a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research today at 975thefanatic.com/AACR. Cancer research saves lives.
All right, everybody have a great rest of your day. For those of you who are off tomorrow, enjoy your day off. Enjoy your 3-day weekend. Some of you may be doing it even longer. By the way, Mustafa will win our fourth and final $50 gift card to Wendy's, the 2 for $3 Biggie Bundle. You got to check that out. So Mustafa is our winner of that $50 gift card. Everybody have a great day. You and Andrew DeCecco tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, and B-Gun on the board.
And B-Gun on the board. And then I'm off next week. Johnny will be back on Monday. Everybody have a great weekend. Have a great 4th of July. I'll talk to you eventually. Everybody else will be back at it tomorrow here on 97.5 The Fanatic.